No.
Stream could not be created. What does that mean? I think we're live.
It's all happening.
Comment stand. Can you see if we're live?
I can and shall. Just in case we're live, hey everyone. Dan here, hope you're awesome. Let's see. Woot woot, we're off from Tony London. Hurrah!
Okay, just it logged me out the second we pressed go.
Okay.
Hello everyone. I hope we're live. I pressed go and it said stream could not be created.
It's not a good sign. Generally, if you can't create a stream, then you might need to go and see a doctor.
Yeah.
But I think we're okay.
Serious comment actually, that, you know.
And we're off.
Yeah. It's the first sign of
The apocalypse?
digital guitar sounds.
Brilliant. Okay. Right. Roll call. Practice process. Hello from Brooklyn, New York. Did we go to Brooklyn when we were there?
Did we go to New York?
We've been a couple of times.
Yeah, I've been to Brooklyn a few times.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we did. Oh, when we went to see Analog Mike. And Andy.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes, then.
Yeah.
Sounding good in Alabama from Mr. Wit30. Thank you, mate. Hello from Peterborough, UK. This is Georgie P.
Hello, Georgie P from P. Nice.
Hello from Glasgow, James Blessed. And hello from Toronto, Murph Murphy.
Ah, liked your work in the Blues Brothers.
That's very good. Oh, Jakarta, Indonesia.
I think she went by her own accord. Went on holiday. Jakarta? No. Jamaica? No. Yeah. No, Jakarta? No, she took the bus. And here's how it goes.
She beat her husband with the guitars. First offender? No, first Gibson, then offender.
Yeah. Nice. Not that we're glorifying any sort of domestic violence, of course. If it's shambolic, it's because nothing's working, as usual. And I really don't know why that is. I just don't know.
That's okay. Guitar Tom says, hello from Reno, Nevada.
Ah.
That seems like a really interesting place.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm watching Yellowstone at the moment.
Oh, yes. I want to watch that.
Oh, man. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Really violent. But boy, oh, boy.
And is Yogi in it?
Yeah. Yogi. The scenery it's not Minnesota. It's based in the middle of America.
Yeah.
And far out, man. It's epic.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Like Ohio or Wyoming.
Yeah. Someone's going to tell me in a second where it's
Kansas.
based. Yeah. Anyway, just stunning.
Okay, everything's working now, so it feels like we can actually be in the game.
Okay.
Or at least I can.
We can have a go.
Yeah. Mr. Wit30 says he's got a guitar forum which had a thread about who they like more, me or you.
And he said he couldn't choose because you were like fire and ice.
Fire and ice.
And Mr. Wit30's in the middle, like lukewarm water.
Lukewarm water, yeah. It's easy. Dan wins every time in those things.
Montana, stop
He's so likeable.
Montana. That's where it is. It's Montana.
Oh, all right. That's not really in the middle.
Where's that?
Not in the middle, I don't think.
Okay. Well, it's really lovely.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe it is in the middle. I don't know. It's where Gibson's acoustic plant is.
In Wyoming?
In Montana.
Oh, okay.
I don't know whereabouts, but don't know. Someone will tell us.
Okay. Montana. Wow. Anyway, yes, it's a really great show. I've always liked Kevin Costner. My wife's not a big fan.
Is he in it?
He's like the main star in it.
Oh, right.
And he is brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Anyway,
Nice.
Yeah, very good. Anyway, welcome everyone.
So that's interesting. So he's one of those actors that's come back from the proverbial dead. Like, their careers were a long time ago.
Okay.
And now he's enlivened it by doing a TV show. And there's lots of actors of that sort of generation who have come back into TV rather than back into film.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, indeed.
that's kind of what I'm saying.
But
I don't mean to be disparaging.
No,
about that. It's just the entertainment business, man.
But the budgets on TV shows now, it's like, oh man.
Have you seen that pedal show?
Come on.
Yeah. It's funny enough, I was watching the Taylor Hawkins tribute gig yesterday, or the day before, can't remember. It's all been a bit of a blur since the Brothers Landreth have been here. And I was just looking at one of the gantries for one of the cameras. And I was saying to Catherine, the cost of putting that gantry up is probably 10 times TPS's whole budget for the whole year. Just one gantry, just looking at the production they've got installed in Wembley Stadium there.
Now, obviously, I'm down with my video tech and all that sort of stuff. What's a gantry?
What, a big metal thing that's about 100 feet high that you put stuff on.
Okay. It's like a big version of our thing.
Yeah, like a big thing. I mean, I don't even know if gantry is the right word. That's what I would call it. Although a gantry is probably something that sticks out, isn't it?
I thought it was a bird.
Yeah. Yeah, great gantry.
I'm thinking the gantries.
Get out of
when
my
the
yard, you-
gantries migrate for winter.
You flaming gantry. Anyway, sorry.
If you've just joined us,
Dan and I are a little bit tired. Last week was one of the most intense weeks I can remember in living memory.
it was brutal.
And didn't really change over the weekend, to be fair, so still coming down off that. MK says, "Sup, fellas, what's your favourite beer? Lol, happy Labour Day from the States." Oh, well, happy Labour Day. Didn't know it was Labour Day
lovely.
today.
A light, refreshing pale ale.
Nice.
Yeah. I can't do the heavy stuff anymore. I just go, I have a sip and it's like, brr.
Yeah, unfortunately, I used to love beer. I drank beer incredibly enthusiastically for many years.
The Jameson says, the gantry is a crane.
Yes.
The bird, the crane.
Yeah, there you go. So, once again, Dan, you're correct. Yeah. Yeah, I used to drink beer very enthusiastically, but I can't drink it anymore. It genuinely makes me depressed, and I thought it was just psychosomatic, but
It was the beer.
I've only got to have... No, it wasn't back then, but now if I have one beer, I feel almost instantly down.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I have one every now and again just to test if it is that, and it seems to be, which is a great shame because I do love beer.
But it's like you've a really hot day, right? Really hot day. You've gone out and you've mowed the grass, and you're breaking a sweat,
Yeah.
and you sit down, and there's a lovely cold beer on the table.
What would it be?
A imported Grolsch.
Something like that, yeah. I'm a big fan of... I was a big fan of Belgian, Dutch and German
Right.
Pilsners.
Would it still... So in that environment, would it still have that effect? Or would it just be, it would still... Wow.
Yeah, about a day and a half later, I'd feel a bit not great.
That's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's direct as well, and I don't think it. Well, it might be psychosomatic. Anyway, it works. So unfortunately, I can't drink beer anymore, which is really boring because I love beer.
Dan Brookman says, "Well, it is a depressant."
Yeah, but then so's wine, and I can drink that all day long and not get depressed.
Right. Gin and tonic. I find that energizing. Whereas, if the night goes on and they end up at 4 o'clock in the morning having a deep, meaningful conversation with a mate, and we break out the whiskey, then it's a different story.
No.
Not that has happened in years.
Those days are truly over.
Yeah.
Although I do have a Spanish friend, Julio.
Julio.
And his wife, Sarah. And they introduced Catherine and I to the concept of gin and tonic at the end of the evening.
Really?
Yeah, not as an...
aperitif.
Not as an aperitif. And, man, it's a lovely thing to drink at the end of the evening.
Wow.
Very refreshing. and all that. Right, I'm going to turn the super chats off because we've got too many super chats. Massive thank you to BV. Sorry we started on a giant tangent. We are what's the word? Hysterical from being tired, or at least I am. I think Dan is too.
Yeah.
So we'll turn the super chats off now to make sure we get through them all. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
To everyone. Hope you all watched the show on Friday with the Brothers Landreth.
Oh my goodness. How amazing.
Oh, I mean, and then we went to see them in Bristol last night. Hello to everyone who we saw in Bristol last night, if you're on here today.
Yeah. So it's the first time I took the family with me last night. My wife, Martine's obviously seen Joey play before, but the first time the kids had seen them play, when Zach hears music, he's got to move, which is awesome. But first time Liv had seen Joey, she's in tears listening. She turns to me and goes, I just can't believe his voice is so beautiful. It's like, yeah, that's what he does. It's what he,
It's quite something. Thank you,
really
BV,
is.
for the reminder
Yes, thanks,
about
buddy.
having the podcast recording and turning the super chats off, both of which have been authorised. Right, let's get into it then. It's been a while since we've seen you. Sorry, there's been vacationing happening, holidaying, depending on where you live in the world. And also a bunch of public holidays happen, annoyingly bunched up together in the UK.
Oh, it's quite annoyingly.
Well, it is annoying because there's no need for a public holiday in the summer, is there? You should put them in
All in 1 month.
the rest of the year where people aren't off school for 6 weeks.
Right.
Is what I think. But anyway.
Possibly.
Actually, I suppose it's a benefit to parents.
It is a benefit to parents.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I don't understand that. Much less care. Right. They don't care about me when they park in the spaces right near the blooming supermarket.
No.
And there's ones that are marked for families. It's like, I've got a family, I just don't have any small people in it. By the way,
Dad, jump at the back!
I always park as far away in a supermarket car park as I possibly can because I'm so sick of getting my car dinged.
By those annoying families with children who open up the doors into your...
It could be anyone.
Could be anyone.
Could be anyone.
Okay.
So I park as far away as possible and I walk as far as I possibly can. And then one day I came out. This is in a shopping centre. And I do always do the same thing. I park as far away as possible.
Right.
I'm looking at a vista which includes about 30 parking spaces and one car, which is my car.
This is your car?
Because it's so far away, nobody wants to park there.
And
I
someone's
get
parked.
back, there is a van
Right.
parked within 3 centimetres
Of your car.
of my driver's door. So done absolutely on purpose because they know why I parked there. And there's half of me going, I want to set fire to your van, which I can't do because then I would set fire to my own car.
It was that close.
And half of me going, I love you. I love that. Can you imagine? Well, I'm just imagining the glee of the person as they park there and they get out of the van and how happy they feel at the apoplectic anger they will have stirred in me by parking their van there. I love the world.
Ah, very good.
I really do.
Very good.
Thank you if that was you. I see everything twice. I see everything twice. First super chat in today. Lower extremity terminations. I just wanted to share my excitement for NAD. New update. Just got a Bad Cat Club 40 and I'm absolutely loving it. Thank you both for the amazing content. I've learned so much.
Oh, you're so welcome, mate. The
Nice.
Bad Cat makes some stellar amplifiers. Last time we were at NAMM, which was many years ago, I stopped by Bad Cat. I was hanging out with Reeves Gabrel and we were listening to this Bad Cat amp. And I've played a couple of Bad Cats, and every time I hear them, they're like, yeah, really great. Stephen Wilson's Bad Cat, his 100-watt Bad Cat. It's just the most brutal. It's got that really beautiful, clean, open thing, and then it just goes, whoa. Yeah, they're great. Well done, mate.
Some guy said, I'm that guy. I'm that person, says Andrew Mordini. Dan Breckman says, my dad always did exact same thing. Awesome. Alessandro Sivieri. Hi, Alessandro.
Hi, Alessandro.
He says, hi, TPS. Just saw the loud versus quiet amp for recording. Do you have any additional thoughts after having heard the recordings back? I thought they both sounded quite good. Much love from Italy.
Yes. Much love back to you in Italy. Most beautiful place in the world. So what was... Because obviously when we're recording that, the only experience that we have is what we can hear with the amps, right? So recording it is a vastly different experience. But hearing it back, it's obvious that the 2-rock has a weight to the tone, and I don't know how much of that, certainly an amount of that is the volume, but also it's the flippin' 2-rock, and it just in its happy place. And I think for me, it was just about finding the amp's happy place, and the 2-rock was just in its happy place, but there was a connection there with the 2-rock. I read this brilliant quote, and it was basically that great tone is a heavy thing to carry, and that was our mate in Nashville. Well, we haven't met him yet, but he is our mate, and we were going to.
Tom Bukovac
Was basically saying great tone is almost like a heavy burden to carry. Like there's a real weight to it.
Well, with great tone comes great responsibility.
Indeed. But it's also quite difficult to separate the experience from recording those amps when you're listening to them.
Yeah. Part of the reason I wanted to do the video in the first place was because I knew this comment would come up, and I absolutely knew that the Bugera was going to sound great recorded, because we recorded loads of little amps before.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about that is that quite a few people actually preferred the sound of the Bugera to the 2-rock, and I think that's a perfectly valid response because...
Did they?
Yeah.
I didn't see any of those.
Yeah, there was quite a few. Or at least, I don't know if out and out preferred, but certainly said it wasn't in any way embarrassed. It was a perfectly...
I think the people that were surprised how good it sounded.
And that was part of the reason for doing the video, because, tone is always purely subjective.
Yeah.
What you think is a good tone, I might not, and vice versa. So I am starting on this mission of trying to get everyone to understand that I think Dan's always been on board with this, but it's something that's really struck me of late, that the whole of the internet and internet demo videos and all of that is obsessed with what's better and what's best and is this better, and it's just always tone is purely subjective.
Yeah.
What is not subjective is feel and the performance of the artist or player. And in order to get that performance, sometimes some physical feeling is required. So the video wasn't really about the tone, because we totally expected both tones to be good. The video was about the effect of dynamic on how happy the performer is. And maybe that didn't come across as much as it should have done, because we're there banging out riffs, not really performing, as it were. I feel quite passionate about it, that whole thing, that tone is purely subjective.
Yeah.
It's purely subjective. There's nothing objective or rational or measurable about it. It's just what you like and what you don't like. But yeah, the Bugera sounded flipping great.
Yeah, it did.
Really sounded great.
The quote is, great tone is heavy and hard to carry. Uncle Larry.
Oh, I see that works in many ways.
Yes,
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people kind of sort of fell into the this one sounds better, that one sounds better debate, and the video wasn't really about that. So maybe that was maybe we didn't quite explain or demonstrate that as fully as we could have done.
Redo.
Oh, I don't know. I sort of I did get to the end of the video, watching it back, reading all the comments, going, there's no way of explaining this.
Sure.
Because it is a physical feeling.
Yeah. I mean, part of the reason we have our experience days, and hello to everyone that was here
on Friday
for our experience day. It was just fantastic.
It really was.
But part of the impetus for us doing that was just so we can get some people in the room and to feel what happens because we record at decent volumes, and there's something that happens at volume, and it's like it is impossible to get that experience, to you guys out there. So, we thought, well, at least we get some people in the room, and to a person thus far, it's been revelatory.
Yeah.
When it's like, okay.
That's what you're talking about. Yeah. And it's not, I just sort of defend our recording process. It's not just us. It's impossible for anyone.
Exactly.
It's impossible for the best producer in the best studio in the world. You cannot. Well, yeah, you just can't. You might get closer to it if you crank your Genelecs up to 115 dB.
Yeah.
You get a bit closer then, but still not quite the same
take
thing.
your pants off and run around the room.
Yeah.
Try that.
Only below the camera line. JP Delaney wants to know, Mick, have you tried the 150 watt silver sterling 2-rock? I have, but not in here. And my friend Jake's got a 100 watt one, and it's really interesting. It doesn't sound as, even though it's loud and clean, it's not as brutal as my CRS, and it's definitely not as brutal as the TS1.
Not as brutal as a CRS.
No.
Oh wow.
It's much more kind of choir of angels.
Oh really?
It's got an unbelievable kind of front end to the note on it, and I don't know why that is. Someone in the comments might be able to tell me why that is.
That's really interesting.
It's an astonishing thing. Wouldn't suit my kind of playing, but because I can't really play like that. But if you're one of those super touch players and you like that loud, clean thing, hello,
Really?
hello,
Don't tell me that.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not sure you'd like it.
Really?
Just too clean
Okay.
for you, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Dan likes a bit of edge, and he also likes fast, and it's the opposite of fast.
Okay.
Don't you? One of the reasons you love red so much is because it's like super
but there's
quick.
also plays into my ADHD-ness, where I'm like, there's energy, I'm like, and I'm sort of, I'm pushy, and I do love that edge. However,
You want all the notes before you play
I
them.
do want all the notes before I play them. Do you know what's really weird?
Yeah,
Right?
if you are ADHD, by the way, and you're offended by Dan's use of the term, he probably is ADHD.
I am totally ADHD.
Yeah, just
There's
not officially diagnosed.
So my son was officially diagnosed, and during his diagnosis, I matched exactly the same things as he did.
I didn't need a doctor for it, mate.
But one thing that was really interesting is because I am pushy, and I remember when I first heard Pat Martino, and I'm like, I absolutely adored his playing, and I got it instantly. And you said, yeah, he's pushy, and it's like, oh my god, he totally is. And I don't know, there's something about it. Gives an energy, but you've got to combine that with musicality as well.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm just pushy. So, and I've always thought, or maybe, like, there's two experiments I want to do. One with a really squishy amp. The other one is just to put like a 5 millisecond delay on everything. So,
Eagle Ray Rob. Hello,
mate.
Rob. He says the Silver Sterling signature, which for those of you who don't know, is loosely based on a Dumble steel string Singer, which is the amp that Stevie Ray famously used. Or one of the amps that Stevie Ray famously used. Post-phase inverter cathode follower. I did hear something about the cathode follower, but I don't exactly know what it is. He says post-phase inverter cathode follower feeding the power tubes. Very low impedance and quick recovery.
right.
Yeah. It does feel quite different from any of the other two Rai I've played.
Too right.
Tom, I always get your surname wrong. Maybe let's go for Siciosa, or it might be Schiziosa. Sia, my apologies. He says, I was diagnosed ADHD at 41. It's been illuminating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. And Justin Garcia, hello Justin. He says, Silver Sterling is like playing a grand piano in a giant theatre, but it's a guitar amp. I think that is as good an explanation as I've ever heard.
Thing is, whenever I play your 2-rock, I do love it. I do genuinely love it. And I reckon if I discovered that before I got into AC30s, I'd be all about that. You know, but you get so when you find something, because I love the Voxes and stuff, and when I found that, everything revolved around that, and everything was geared towards making that work, you know. And for the gigs I was doing, the venues I was playing, it really did work. But because it's all based around the limiting of the amp, it does have its limitations, funnily enough.
Yeah. It's, oh, God.
Anyway, that's something
we were
we'll
talking
disappear
before
down.
we came on air about all of that.
I'm working out how to pick a note. And Mick's like, oh, man. It's just, are you really... you know, are you really that...
We were discussing ideas for videos, and Dan says, like, I want to do this video called I've Been Doing the Wrong Thing for 40 years. I'm like, you've just realised. It's like we've all been doing the wrong thing for 40 years. But it's that... So Dan's had a bit of a revelation about his playing just recently, or continues to have revelations, as we all do. It's nothing unusual about that, but if we can get that across in a video, it would be great. Mine's been, I've got to the top of this mountain. I've got me 61 Strat, I've got me Klon, I've got me Dumble, basically, and I'm just the same. I'm just stood on top of the mountain now going, I don't really like it up here. I want to go down there, and I'm looking for a way back down.
That's fascinating. Okay.
Because I'm like, what? Why am I here? Because, you know, with due respect to all mountain climbers, I don't think the point is getting to the top, is it? But no, sorry, the point is getting to the top. The point is not being at the top.
Interesting.
It's all about the journey, not the destination, and all of that.
Yeah.
So what do you do once you're there? You're like, well, fair enough, let's pack up our crampons, Ranulph, cut off a couple of toes and head back down.
Stick him in the pot.
Yeah.
Bit of protein.
Well, yes, I had to cut all my thumbs off, but, you know, it was cold. It was bloody cold.
That's what Ralph Fiennes did, right? Have you heard him interviewed?
Is it Ranulph or Rafe or
Right, yeah.
Roger?
Yeah. Uncle.
Yeah, Reynard.
Yeah.
The old posh dude who goes up mountains. Anyway, sorry. It was always going to be bad today. Chris Waters. Hello, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
We really do need to speed up.
Sorry, dude. That's me.
He says, Leggett Lions. That's nice. That's very nice. Saw the brothers live on Thursday. Never heard harmony like it.
Yeah.
I'm inspired to try slide again, but I always lose patience. How do I stick at it? Don't ask me. I feel that every time I watch Joey play, I feel the same thing. Or Derek Trucks, for that matter.
Yeah. I... maybe because I have self-esteem issues, but I don't mind playing slide. I've always... I'll tell you what's interesting. Sorry, tell you what's interesting.
Around nervously for a slide.
No, it's just for a round object.
I've got one, Dan. I've got one somewhere. I'll find you one.
So, if you can visualize the patterns on the neck, right? So, for example, if you're just a pentatonic thing in A, but if you can visualize and hear the notes before you play them, na 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 na, right? And then you know where those notes are, and then you can just use the slide around those notes. One thing though with the slide is just remember, it's a lot easier to come up to the note than it is to go above the note and back down to it. You get more sustain and that sort of stuff. It's all right, look, just to hear. This will do.
I'm going to... Well, yeah, okay. I've got a revelation about slide, which is why I can't play slide.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so... That was full of water. But it's... Don't overthink it. There's no mystery to it. You know, when you see... I mean, Joey is extraordinary, but he is a musical genius, and that's what's going to happen. But it's just, don't overthink it. Just play up to the note, flap your finger around a little bit for your vibrato. Yeah. It also, okay. Yeah, so if you're on your pentatonic, and also muting the strings behind the slide.
Yeah. Basic technique stuff is where to start.
And I'm, hitting the frets and everything, but
Yeah.
yeah, just don't overthink it.
My problem is actually, that's not too bad.
Sounds amazing.
My problem is I still think the notes are in between the frets. Right? Because that's where you put your fingers.
Okay.
But they're not. The notes are on the frets.
Dude, you sound great on the slide.
Sometimes
Surprise,
I can do it.
surprise.
If you put me in a gig and get me to do that, it'll be a car crash.
It will not.
It will. I've had to do it.
All right, next TPS gig.
What's
will
the Eagle song?
That's it.
Life in the Fast Lane.
Yeah, yeah.
But it always just sounds, I was going to use the swear word, but always sounds drunk to me. So yeah, go for, first of all, decide what finger you're going to use and get a slide that fits it, number one. Number two, understand damping behind. And then, I guess like anything, just work on a note. Just work on making that note sing out. And I would suggest trying some exercises to target notes
Right.
that would be in tune.
Look, you sounded great there, man. You should play slide more. It really does sound good. It does sound good. It sounds really good.
It's alchemy. And then when you watch Joey fingering chords and playing slide and singing, and then singing a harmony with what he's playing slide, while the other dudes are also singing harmony, it's like, this is something else.
Oh, okay, we've got Corey Congilio and Jeff Macfarlane in the chat,
No way.
as well as Mr. Tim Lurch.
Hey, Jeff, do you have a new record out? Did I see on iTunes the other day? Jeff Macfarlane, I think, has got a new record out.
Oh, cool.
I think. Please, call up your music player of choice and check out Jeff Macfarlane's new album, if indeed it is new and it didn't just come up in a playlist for me.
Mick Allman says John W777. Because I remember you saying, after you heard Joey, you went, I'm never touching a slide again or something. Actually, that's the first time I've heard you play slide, like in years and years. And you sound great.
What's weird is when I record, I normally play slide.
Do you?
Well, I can do it in about 80 takes, so it's fine. Al Gorham says, in 3 seconds, Mick teaches me what I didn't know. It's on the effing frets. I was 43 when I found that out. I know. Jeff Macfarlane says, no, not a new record, just the last one with Robin. Casual.
Hey, where's the horn?
Yeah, that's not Robin Hood or indeed Robin Banks. It's Robin Ford. That's not too bad, Jeff.
Wow.
Cool. Joey has 3 brains. We do think that, Rob. Yeah, Eagle Ray Rob. Right, come on. Let's hurry up, Dan. Eagle Ray Rob. Brothers Landreth were fantastic on Friday in Friday's show. The tone of Joey's rig was melt your heart good. Joey combines great tone, playing in an emotional twist via effects perfectly, and he sings beautifully too. That TS1 is glorious. It really is.
It is one of the best recording apps I've ever heard. There's because I remember playing it here going, because it's so strident and you've got to be so on it, because everything that you play, if you've got it's just like, it's...
Sorry, Dan.
It's so brutal.
Dan's discovery is pick angle. I mean, he's always known this, but
it's this. There's
new depths.
Yeah, and because I'm going to a thinner pick, and it's actually a lot more obvious with a thinner pick.
What pick are you using now then?
It's an 88, still prime tone.
Oh right.
But the 88, because I'm playing a lot of acoustic at home, and switching between the picks is a little bit of a thing.
I can't use the 1.5s on my acoustic.
Right,
doesn't work.
Yeah. So I'm trying to see if I can make this work, and to date I haven't been able to. But anyway, but when you hear the recording of that amp back, it's like, oh man, it just something about the frequencies that amp, the way it prints is just so beautiful.
Yeah. It's interesting that discussion we had about big amps being quite hard to record. That was another reason for doing that video, by the way. Big amps being actually quite hard to record, and small amps being potentially easier to record, and also all the histrionics you get from a crapping out smaller amp, transformer, harmonics, cone cry from the speaker, all that stuff. It's almost there's like a bit of all of that coming out of Two Rock, even though that's not what it is.
No, and that's all from the preamp,
You've
right?
got a lot of vibe and feel and nice stuff. And I've noticed that in the recordings.
So that right. When I talk about the like the J, and I've got to have it turned up at a point doing its stuff, and that's the combination of the blue and the transform and all this sort of stuff. Whereas the Two Rock has got all that, but just in the preamp. Yeah. And you've got so much control over it. Then volume wise,
I mean, it does. The power amp is definitely doing some stuff.
Sure.
The power section is definitely doing some stuff in that. But yeah, I guess the majority of the overdrive that we would think of is coming from. Andy Cooper says, guys, do you remember the guy on your January 22 experience day who played the lap steel like Joey plays slide guitar? He was astonishingly good. I do. David, his name was, and he was actually at the Joey gig last night. Yeah. So thanks for that, Andy. David. David Trahan. David Trahan, maybe was his surname.
Shall we give out his address as well?
How do I remember that?
I don't know. It's pretty amazing.
Shane Luttrell wants to know, what do all of us think of the Marshall 1974? I prefer the 2061 personally. 74 is same as the 2061 combo with tube rectifier.
Oh, okay.
2061 is the PA 20 watt head.
Okay. So funny because I had a couple of old Marshalls. I've had a few actually, sort of growing up, and got rid of them. The Marshall that I regret getting rid of is an old JMP50 non-master volume. It was the last. It was PCB. It was like last of the Marshall non-master volume amplifiers, and that thing was just a flippin' sledgehammer, but with a soft coating around it, And that's the one Marshall that I was really regret getting rid of.
So funny, isn't it? I've always struggled with mine. I love the sound of them. Absolutely love the sound of them. And when they're in that lovely place that they're in, I enjoy playing them. And of all the Marshalls down the years, they just have a sound. It almost doesn't matter what model it is. I did it.
Even the preamp, the MIDI preamp stuff, and it's all got a thing.
Did a gig last Sunday night at a friend's pub down in Weymouth in Dorset, with who I'm proud to say is now my friend. This guy called Phil. Trying to remember his surname. Phil Walker, and he does this touring theatre show called something like The Story of the Guitar Heroes or something, and there's 3 of them. Chris, who's given me some guitar lessons, Phil Walker, who is kind of his show, and another guy, Lee Williams, who I met for the first time on last week as well, who used to work at Absolute Music, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they sort of swap guitar and bass duties during the night. This is all surplus information. Phil brought a 60 watt TSL 1x12 combo. Triple lead, the small TSL. I thought the TSLs never sounded as good as the DSLs, but whatever. And he proceeded to play the whole gig, and it was nice and cranked, and it just sounded, even though it was a 1x12 combo, it sounded like a flipping Marshall. Wow. It totally sounded like a Marshall. Yeah. And he it was just the most glorious sound. I was like, why don't I play a Marshall? It's
Right.
just such a great
Yeah.
sound. You know,
Yeah.
he had it nice and cranked and was, you know, backing off to clean up and stuff. It was a lovely thing to hear. So my
Wonderful.
point is, whether it's like a 112 TSL or an old Plexi, they do have this familial
Yeah.
voice
Yeah.
that seems to go right through the overdrive and the bass response and all that kind of stuff. Not saying they sound exactly the same, but this familial voice. And it's, I don't know, I just feel warm and fuzzy and happy when I hear it.
Yeah.
Sorry, bit
Nice.
of a tangent.
No,
Hello,
good.
hello to Phil and Chris and Lee. Lovely, lovely humans you are. Ranzer, we didn't really answer what we think of the 1974. It's an 18 watt EL84.
Yeah, dual EL84. So one's got the
I think the 74's got tremolo in it, maybe.
okay. Yeah. Okay.
Has a valve rectifier, whereas the 2061 is a similar amp, is a head and has solid state rectification. I prefer that one, a bit more headroom.
So
And maybe
EZ81 rectifier valve in that thing, I think.
could be.
But yeah. So I've got my Mallard amp is basically similar thing, that, you know, the head version that they did. And that's an 18 watt, but the 20 watt with the solid state. Dennis Cornell actually makes versions of
Yes, he does.
both.
Very
And
nice too.
Flippin' heck, amazing.
Seth Rowe saw Michael Landau on tour with James Taylor. He can play. He really can. He's. I have a handful of favourite guitar players, and he's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ranzer, Ledge Hands. Once more, blown away by Joey's, actually all the brothers' talent and creativity. Multiple rewatches later, can't wait for the director's cut. Yeah, the director's cut is, I think it's almost 2 hours long, and it's just, we get in deep on a lot of the stuff that was talked about. We just go deeper on most of it. The rig explanation is quite complex, and I'm still in the middle of trying to draw the diagrams.
I would say
Anyway,
just draw one diagram or post it on the interweb.
I can put it in the video, it's fine.
Yeah, put it in the video. But saying also, if we put it on like Instagram or something, and people can just relate back to it whenever they want,
Yeah.
because it's almost impossible because we can't do the masking thing, because every time he hits a foot switch, everything changes.
Yeah.
The order changes.
And I can't work it out either. I don't think Dan could work it out either. We don't exactly know what's going where.
Yeah, we've got it worked out for, like, if you turn it on and everything's in order, then that's what it's like. But then Joey changes everything per sound. It's pretty amazing.
And Randall also wants to know, can you elaborate rerouting Captor X back into G3 like Joey? How? Is it through the XLR outs? Does it create a loop, or do I need another amp after G3? Yes, you do.
Yeah, you need something after G3. So the Captor X out, you got to somehow get it to a 1/4 inch to go back in the return, and there, you know, you can go through your delays and reverbs and stuff, and comes out and needs to go into not necessarily a full range power thing, but it needs to have something with loads of headroom so that it can reproduce the power amp, the preamp.
So the Captor X can take a speaker load, right? Which is one of the main reasons Joey's using that device, is there aren't many devices that can take a speaker load. So you come out of the amp, where it would normally go to the speaker, into the Captor X, out of the Captor X into the speaker. So it can deal with the speaker load. What you can then do is take a line out of that signal, so the signal that's coming off the speaker lead, you can send a line of that back through the pedal board, through the wet effects, and then back out to 2 more amps to amplify it on the wet sides, and that's what those Rev D20s are doing.
Yes,
So yeah, that's how that was being done.
indeed.
Yeah. Mojo. I have 23 tellies
I like you very much.
and 2 Strats.
Just okay.
Yeah. I'm looking for my first Gibson type. Any suggestions that are not PRS? Les Paul Jr., Nick Huber, Hamer, etc. Thanks for your time.
So, right. Okay.
Get a Gibson.
Here's the thing. This is my Nick Huber Crowster 2. And it is a glorious guitar. And it plays beautifully. All of the, Nick's guitars are amazing. It's light as anything. And it just plays beautifully. And whenever I've played it live, it's like, it's effortless to play. And I think one of the things about it being effortless to play is the same reason that I don't tend to go for newer guitars, is I need a bit of fight. And I can get that. I can look like, I can raise the action and do all that sort of stuff. But all those guitars, if you find the right combination of wood and pick up some stuff, you'll always find an amazing guitar. And, it's beautiful. The thing with the Gibson, and, this is a sort of a standard Les Paul, 2002, 59, R8. 58. And there's a fight to it. And I've got to, it sounds stupid, but I've got to ask it to play something. And it says, maybe, when there's a conversation that I have with it. And that sort of works. But if what you want is a guitar that's effortless to play, then, Kraus is great. Find a nice PRS, Sirs, and there's all manner of great choices out there.
Yeah, you just got to go with what's in your heart, really, because it doesn't matter is the answer. Doesn't matter what the guitar is, doesn't matter what the amp is, doesn't matter what the pedal is. What matters is that you want to play it.
Exactly.
And that you can speak on that instrument, and that's a bit of a harder job to find out. And it's very hard to generalize about brands.
Yeah.
I have classic guitars from classic brands because I have a psychological connection with those brands through rock and roll history, and I'm not really interested in anything outside of that guitar wise because I've never played anything that connects with me in the way that those things do, having played everything.
Sure.
But rewind to our experience day on Friday. The first thing that I do with most people is put the 61 Strat in their hands and watch the disappointment.
No way.
Yeah, because it's totally unremarkable and it's hard work.
Yeah, okay.
And you either want that or you don't. You stick a really nicely set up Sir or Anderson in their hands, they're like, well, this is much better.
Yeah, right.
And that's totally valid.
So the reason that I started playing tellies, I had a 1964 L Series Strat that was stolen in Australia. And I was playing that night and I needed a guitar. A friend of mine had a Telecaster. And I remember hearing the sound of the bridge pickup through my rig for the first time going, oh, this thing is ridiculous. But then I also remember playing a solo going, gee, I don't sound very good on this. And realizing that because it's such a simple guitar, and I was so stuck on the vibrato on the Strat. Like every note was this. And all of my wobble came from this. And I remember on the telly going, well, I don't have a wobble. And the notes would just sort of ring. And I didn't, I hadn't developed any sort of vibrato to speak of. And I just had a realization that actually, if I can't make a simple guitar like this sound good, I have no business playing guitar. And that was a personal thing for me. It was like, I really want to see if I can do this, and I'm still trying to do it.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that's like, it's a never ending exploration.
Yeah, it's so hard. I'm in a really weird place with it all at the moment, just like the mountain analogy earlier.
Yeah.
Back to your telly question. Dan would be entirely happy if the only guitar he ever played in his life again was red.
Yep.
And if you ask him the next day, he would say the 65. But if those were the only two guitars in your life, you would not feel in any way bereft, would you?
Not at all.
And I think if you've got 32 tellies or 22 tellies and 2 Strats, maybe you don't need a Gibson or style guitar. I don't know at that point. Les Paul Jr. anyway would be my answer.
There you go. Nice.
Single cut with 1P90. That would be my answer, because I think you'll bond with that guitar. If you are a fan of tellies, which it sounds like you are, you will bond with that guitar more quickly than you would with, say, a full Les Paul standard type guitar, whether it's from Gibson or somebody else.
Yeah.
The other recommendation would be go for something completely different and look at a 335 or a Casino type, because that's so different from a
Strat or a Telly.
Strat or a Telly.
Yeah.
It's going to force you down different avenues, and that in itself is valuable.
Yep.
I'm a huge fan of Casino style guitars, completely hollow, short neck. Well, sorry, the neck joins further in the body, so you've got less frets. Very, very unique feeling and sounding instrument, and completely different from any solid body. So maybe have a look at a Casino style. Also excellent value for money if you get a Chinese or a Korean one.
Right.
So yeah,
Very good.
yeah. Now then, somebody said before question, and it was come on.
Chameleon.
Romain or Romain or Ramat is very insistent and wants to know. He's going to keep trying. What drum pedal would we recommend? He says
Tone King. No, King.
out of the Beat Buddy. So
pedal.
we know about the Beat Buddy.
Right.
We would recommend that. So you want a pedal to create drum sounds. Try the Digitech Trio Plus.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Failing that, get an old drum machine.
Yeah. Is it TR808 or what's the?
The Roland.
Yeah, that was awesome. I had one of those. That were great.
Yeah, maybe.
Get some Simmons drums. Do 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 do.
Jim Williams says, Mick, once you reach the top of the mountain, it's time for a Dan Electro into a Fender Champ.
I like that. I like that.
There was someone else who asked me the question outright, and it said, is it time to go to one guitar then? And apologies, because I can't find who actually suggested that, and I'm trying to find it.
If you were to pick one guitar now, Buildings on Fire.
Oh, it's obviously the old Strat.
There you go.
Absolutely, obviously. And I think there's something in that. If you've got to that point where you've got all the gear, and I've got to the point now where I genuinely don't have any gear questions.
Right.
I'm kind of done with gear questions vis-a-vis my ability to use it.
Sure.
So if my ability to use it increases, then I will have gear questions again. And when I watch Joey, I have so many gear questions. But that's never likely to happen. So I've answered all the gear questions I've ever had.
Right.
At this point, what do you do then? Well, what you do is you find out what the hell you're trying to play on the damn thing.
Right.
So that might end up being one guitar, and it might be like, well, what do I actually play then?
Sure.
Now I'm there.
Well, you're on top of a mountain. You've got to have the drone
Yeah.
with that. Doing some massive flybys and it's epic guitar solos. That's what you do on top of a mountain.
Could be. Could be. Great to see you again last night, Mick, at the Landreth Brothers gig. You always make time to talk to your many TPS fans, and it's much appreciated, says Joe Leonard. Hi, Joe. Dan and I still struggle with the concept of fans. We're all just humans, and we're super pleased to bump into like-minded humans. So,
Yeah.
thanks for
definitely.
being there.
I could never get used to it. And
Yeah.
it's yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Mojo, eventually, Les Paul Jr. Have a look at a Les Paul Jr., whatever brand it says on the headstock.
Yeah.
I think you'd probably enjoy that. Or a Casino. That'd be those would be my two recommendations. James Blessed. Hello, James.
Hey, James.
Evening, gents. I have a PRS C24, a Telly and a Les Paul, and I'm about to buy a Riviera. Oh, no, a Riviera.
Oh, cool.
I was thinking Riviera amps. He's talking about an Epiphone Riviera guitar. What would you recommend next for my modest collection? You're not allowed to say Strat, Mick. So you've got CE24, Telly, Les Paul, and he's going to get a hollow body Gibson 335 style guitar in the Riviera.
Okay. And there's something after that.
Dan Electro.
Dan Electro is a great shout.
Uh,
Dan Electro, okay, Dan Electro is great. Duesenberg have got some really interesting guitars. Your
Supro.
the Supro,
Yeah, something that you could tune to a lower register,
yeah,
perhaps.
and yeah,
They don't. Unfortunately, they don't make that anymore. When like Eastwood and Supro and
yeah,
all those brands came along and started making funky looking 50s things.
Yep.
I bought this on a whim because it was reduced at Anderton's to like 300 and some quid. So I just keep it tuned D to D. And I always really love playing this guitar.
so it's still in normal tuning, but just a semitone, it's just a tone down.
Yeah,
Right.
a tone down.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's got one of these cool gold foil pickups, and it's just a funky thing.
yeah, it's a great sounding guitar. That,
And it forces one into a different brain.
yeah, it's like when
Space.
you pick up the E flat Strat, and it's like everything's a punch in the face. It's really cool. Who needs pedals? Me, but that sounds great.
There's a question.
Yeah.
There's a question. Yeah, maybe go for a baritone. Who was it brought in a PRS semi-hollow body baritone? It was Hayden Mowbray. To
Right.
the Experience Day. Hello, Hayden, if you're watching this. Experience Day on Friday brought in a PRS baritone. I think probably the best baritone guitar I've ever played.
Right.
In terms of being able to play it being in tune, it sounding good. Just love that thing.
Yeah.
It's completely different mind space.
Andy Timmons is on. G'day, mate.
Captain Timmons.
Andy says, hello, lads. Love heart. Love you too, bud. He says, I love my huge green Big Muff, but it's not board friendly. What's my best option? I think the best option is I'll just come to every gig and carry it around for you. And I think that's the best option.
What do we like? The Way Huge Russian Pickle.
Yes, is really good.
Because the green Big Muffs
Yeah.
are specifically that, aren't they?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Way Huge Russian Pickle. Get on the phone to George, Andy.
Yeah, that's really good.
What about, does Teddy make one? True-Fi?
He does, and it's wonderful. I would also Thorpe, the Muffin, not the Muffin Cloud. What's it called?
Andy says you're hired.
The
Fallout Cloud.
The Fallout Cloud.
Yeah, Thorpe Fallout Cloud, yeah.
But what's really beautiful about that is the bottom end control. So what I find is certainly in the mix, having control over how much bass frequencies you're letting through can be really, really helpful. So Fallout Cloud is definitely worth a look.
David Michel and Paul Atreets are both saying Gretsch for that extra guitar to check out as a great shout. And remiss of us not to say. Yeah. It's so funny how Gretsch occupies its own parallel universe, isn't it? In our world anyway, and not in other people's worlds. And they never spring immediately to mind.
And I've got two of them, and they're both great guitars, and they never just jump out and go, oh,
they so should. They're so unique and so great. And a Duo Jet would be a really good shout, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. Funny that I'm going to be playing with Ainsley this Friday in the Tivoli Theatre in Wimborne in Dorset.
Lovely.
For a few songs. So if you're anywhere near Wimborne in Dorset and you want to see some awesome musicians, not including me, on Friday, go and see the Ainsley Lister Band. I'll be sitting in for 4 tracks. Anyway, Ainsley was saying...
I'll just say, I saw a clip of Mick playing with Ainsley, and it was a choir of angels. It sounded incredible.
It was good. It was
incredible.
It was at the Cheese and Grain, and the PA was ace, and everything sounded ace, and it was happening. Ainsley wants to try Gretsch.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if he's managed to find one yet, but it'd be interesting to hear on that. Yeah. Right. Good luck, James. Anyway, with your quest. Eagle Ray Rob, I received a Steel String Singer clone. 100 watt 6L6 based off Eric Johnson's Steel String Singer. It's a fantastic amp, and I was amazed how great pedals sound through this amp. High headroom, not just louder. Feels better to me. Thanks for the guidance.
The nickel string Hummer.
Yeah, I wish I could explain it, Rob. I mean, having played my friend Jake's, Jake Loosemore. Hello, Jake, if you're watching. It's a really different feel. It's a really different feel, and a lovely thing.
I'd be really interested to play one.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Iron Wolf 1776 started assembling my new board with a G3 yesterday.
Oh, bless you. Thank you, mate.
Mounted the power supply, the G3 and the pedals, including a Wampler Terraform, an Empress Echo System and a Source Audio Collider. Tomorrow, I'll complete the wiring.
Awesome. Awesome. Wow. Heavy hitters.
Like an idiot, I didn't take any video of underneath Joey's pedal board.
Okay. Because there's like as much going on underneath as there is on top.
He's been completely fastidious about it, hasn't he?
Yeah,
It's a thing of beauty. Apparently, someone commented earlier, apologies, I didn't catch your name. If you're a patron of Joey on Patreon, he did a massive run through of his pedal board, so he explains it in detail.
Yeah.
If you want to see that.
Yeah.
It was a thing of sheer beauty underneath.
Yep. Yeah, he's amazing. He's amazing.
Good luck, Iron Wolf 1776.
Yes, good luck, mate.
I hope you enjoy G3. It's quite a revelation, actually, when you get it for free. I only use about 10% of the functions, but actually Dan would argue with that, more like 3% of the functions. Watching Dan and Joey use their G3s, it's like, oh, wow, it does that. Oh, my God.
Yeah. No, it's still... Yeah. Thank you, bud.
I'm currently shopping for a good lowish gain, smooth sounding OD, says DS Randlet. Hello, DS. So you want a low gain, smooth sounding OD. Current candidates are J Rocket Melody, the DMBL, which is by. Do you remember we had it?
The DMBL.
Guy that does a delay pedal that we also had. Mojo Hand, is it maybe?
Okay.
No. Guy who did designs for somebody else. Maybe it is Mojo Hand. And a Keeley Aria. Would love to hear your thoughts and any other ideas. Okay. So
Mojo Hand. Yep, that's right.
It is Mojo Hand,
Yep.
is it? The DMBL?
Yep.
Yeah. Really like that, by the way.
Yeah.
The trouble you've got with smooth sounding and low gain is those two things can be contradictory.
Indeed. Yeah.
Why?
Well, it's about limiting and about how it's done and, dynamics and stuff. It's, headroom, another thing. So many bits and pieces.
Overdrive necessarily requires some sort of overdrive, clipping of some kind. And that is a harsh edge. And the way you get smooth is to have quite a lot of overdrive. Because the edges then become quite smooth. So if you're talking about low gain, smooth sounding, that's quite a difficult place to be. For example, if you roll a bit of overdrive onto a clon, for example, that's the last thing you would describe as smooth.
Yeah.
Depending on where you got your guitar set.
Yep. And also depending on what the tone control is.
Yeah. So...
you can make a DS1 sound smooth, sort of. With tone in a specific spot and the gain in a specific spot. But there's lots of really great options. We did a show on low gain overdrives recently. Worth a look at that because it also goes into detail of what you might be looking for to help you answer that question. But there, things like the light speed from Greer and the Sick As from Bondi Effects, which is like a
Lightspeed never seems to disappoint anybody.
Never seems to disappoint.
Yeah, and
ODR1.
Similarly, Noble's ODR1 can fill that gap. Also depends how you run your amp. So if you've got a big open clean amp, then you need the pedal to do a bit more clipping, as it were. If your amp's right on the edge, then you might find a boost will do the job.
Yeah.
Because it will push the amp into a bit of overdrive. So
I tell you
There's that
what,
to think about.
the Bad Bob Boost by Analog Man. There's a new version that separates the gain from the level.
Oh, nice.
So I was showing a couple of guys on Friday, the experience day, and I pulled it out. It's like, I've forgotten how flippin' awesome this thing is. Straight back on the board.
Yeah, I like it. I got a Bad Bob built into a Tube Screamer.
That thing is excellent.
And it's some days I'm like, yay! And some days, no, too much edge.
Right. Oh, okay.
Too much edge for me.
Interesting.
Too
right.
bitey. So maybe the answer here is actually it doesn't matter too much. What matters is how you approach it with the volume of your guitar and the tone control. That's what's going to give you the smoothness. So Dan, if you had to buy any emboldening low gain overdrive for a nice smooth sound, what would you get?
I mean, it sounds terrible, but King of Tone still for me is still the one to beat.
Now you have a nice new option there, because somebody asked before, and again, I'm sorry I didn't pick your name up. What do we think of the new MXR?
The Duke of Tone.
Duke of Tone.
Yeah,
looks great.
Interesting.
They're taking great pains to say it's through hole, or some of it is through hole.
Right. See, here's the thing though. The Duke of Tone is going to be a copy of the Prince of Tone, and I really like the Prince of Tone, but the Prince of Tone is not King of Tone, and the Prince of Tone is not even one side of the King of Tone. It's close, but it has a lot more mid-range. The way I use my King of Tone is both sides are on, and one side is just clipping into the other, and it gives that cascading gain stage thing, and it sounds magic. Yeah. However, Prince of Tone, it's still the boost that's on Stephen Wilson's board. Still sounds just fantastic. Yeah, but put two of those together, because we've done the show, two Prince of Tones versus a King of Tones.
Yeah, it doesn't sound the same. I'm sure, I'm absolutely certain George and gang, and if Mike's been involved, we know Mike, and he wouldn't rest until he was happy with it.
Oh, no way.
So, yeah, and it's George Trips, for God's sake, so it's going to be good, isn't it? Of course it's going to be good. Anyway, your suggestions. J Rocket Melody, for those of you who don't know, that looks a little bit like this.
It's very cool. So instead of a tone control, you actually have a graphic EQ. And it was a collaboration between Mark Lettieri and the guys at J Rocket.
Yeah, so what's going to be great about that is that you can roll your gain on as much as you like and then smooth off the high end with the graphic.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good shout. The DMBL I remember really liking. I think in terms of sculptability, it's that. The Aria is something different again because you've got a compressor built into that.
Yeah, but that's great.
So if you want that to add the smoothness,
really
then you could do that. I think any of those are a good shout. I might, you know what? I might even choose the Aria out of all of those.
Yeah,
because you get that compressor as well. Not that I'm a massive fan of compressors, but if it's
those two circuits are designed to work together.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing Pete Thorne did a demo of it, and it's like yeah.
Because you can have the compressor post or pre, can't you?
I believe so.
Yeah, which is a big deal.
Yeah. What's for tea?
Burgers.
Very good.
Yeah. Duck of Tone, says David Tompkins.
Duck of Tone.
Klon KTR versus Analog Man King of Tone. Entirely different things.
In the blue corner.
That's like saying Telly versus Les Paul.
Yeah.
Telly. Yeah. John Kuzak, Paul Matulovic, thank you. That's who I was trying to remember the dude's name.
From what?
Mojo Hand.
Oh, is that John Cusack?
Yeah. Thank you, Paul.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously not the actor John Cusack. Well, might be, but I don't think it is.
That would be hilarious, though.
Yeah. What was he in? Sliding Doors?
He was in Oh man, it's one of my favourite films. He was in
Point Blank.
Point Blank, Gross Point Blank. I love that film, and his sister's in it as well. And they do a lot of Joan Cusack,
Yeah.
and they do a lot of work together. And I just think she is brilliant. She's hilarious in that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
It's hilarious.
Gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, it's great. High Fidelity, yes, that's the other one. Yeah.
Oh, that was the Nick Hornby Arsenal fan remake, wasn't
Yeah, but it was. I remember when I first got to London, we were living in Crouch End, and there was a little record store, and I walked in and said, "Is this the place from High Fidelity?" And he said, "A lot of people think that, but it's not." But the thing with the film is it's obviously based in, is it San Francisco?
Don't know.
Anyway, it's based in America, so, but it's a good film.
Nice. So not that John Cusack. Anyway, good luck, DS, in your overdrive pedal search. I'm 25 years and about 100 overdrive pedals in, still really none the wiser. There's the little green one that they made in 1977 is still largely my favourite. 1978.
Yeah. Very good.
Sam Colson. Hello, Sam. What software do you use to practice, Dan? I'm also keen to get more into jazz playing and artists. So what albums should I listen to?
Okay. Super important. Two quick things. I was giving Kirk Fletcher a lift to the train station after filming with him, and I had so many questions because he blew my mind the whole day. And I said, oh, just after hearing him play all this really beautiful blues and jazzy stuff, and I'm like, I'd love to get better at that, and I can't seem to make any headway. And he says to me, "What are you listening to?" And I realised I'm such an idiot. I'd realised that before that, but there was a point. It was like, you know what? How do I expect to develop any feel for jazz if actually I'm not listening to it? And then it's like, why do I want to develop anything for jazz if I'm not drawn to listen to it? And I thought, okay, that was a revelation. And then it was like, I'm going to start exploring some of it. And then it was Tony Bennett. I was like, oh, I love him. He is amazing. And
It's a very inspirational story, as Tony Bennett.
just his phrasing, his just effortless beauty with the way that he delivers songs. And I thought, okay, this is great. I started listening to a lot of Tony Bennett. And I'd listened to a lot of jazz guitar players, and it's like, yeah, okay, good, nice. I was much more inspired by Miles Davis kind of blue and, horn players. Then I heard Pat Martino and was like, this is what I've been waiting for forever.
There you are.
And I almost listened to Pat Martino exclusively for like almost a year. The thing is, if you want to learn to play jazz, you need to love listening to jazz. And, because there's a vocabulary in that you need to understand. The weirdest thing for me was because I had learnt jazz harmony when I was younger, but because I never played it. And I never really understood it. And I just remember listening to Pat, and then all of a sudden, elements of that harmony started to make sense. And it started falling into place. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm, starting to get this now. And so anyway, you got to listen to a lot of it. What I use to practice is I get up every morning, 6 a.m. I get my Boss Waza Air headphones on with a clean tone with a Telecaster, and I go into iReal Pro, and I'll go through some tunes. And the great thing about the Waza Air things is A, it don't disturb anyone in the house, but it also links Bluetooth wise to my iPad, so I can hear the backing track, and I just play along to it. And the iReal Pro can change key and tempo and instrumentation and all that stuff.
iReal Pro.
Yep, it is flippin' fantastic. So that's what I used to practice. But the most important thing is that you're playing along to somebody that has a tempo. I get up so often and I'll just pick up a guitar and go. It means nothing. It means less than nothing. It's just noodling. and it's great fun. But then I wonder if I do that for ages, and I go into a backing track and stuff, and I wonder why I have such trouble playing along with things. It's a very different experience when you're playing along to something that has time, that has a rhythm section, and you've got to follow the chords and try and get everything landing in time. When you start practicing that stuff, that's when you start to improve. And obviously when you're learning it, your chords and your scales and that sort of stuff, you need to get them under your fingers, but then applying them in time is when things start to click. Dan out.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a bit long-winded, but I feel very passionate about that.
I love it when you talk passionately about that stuff, because Dan is so into it and he's so inspired by it, and it really clicks with you. For me, as someone who I have a problem with the term jazz, because
exactly, yeah, I know.
It's just music.
It is just music.
And what jazz is all music.
Yeah.
Because what it is an innate understanding, a complete understanding of the guitar.
Yeah.
So you need to understand chords. And from chords you get arpeggios, and from arpeggios you can build, from scales you build arpeggios, but you really need to understand the guitar so you can play anything, whether that's a classic from the Great American Songbook, or whether it's some ripping Wes solo, or whatever it is. It seems sensible for me that we talk about other musics with genre labels.
Sure.
But to me, jazz is music. It's all music.
Yeah.
And therefore, if you want to play jazz, unfortunately, you need to know all music.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And all your chords and all your scales and all your arpeggios, and the harmony is the thing. And that's the bit that when I listen to jazz, I still can't hear the harmony. I just can't hear it. And I cannot hear the relationships. Even in some of those classic songs where the singer is singing, I'm like, that melody sounds really bad to me. I have yet to understand how it has any relation to all the other stuff I'm hearing. So to circle back round to what he said at the beginning, you got to listen to it and you got to love it.
Yeah.
And maybe in your case, if you're just trying to get into it, maybe pick a place to begin, because wherever you begin, you're going to have to work out from.
Yeah.
But it might be that your route in, like in Dan's case, it was Pat Martino.
Yeah.
That made him go, oh yeah.
That's it.
Now I can see the roots.
Yeah.
But unless you find your way in,
you're just flailing around.
I mean, for me, it would be, and this may be cliche, but for me, it would be George Benson, right? Because George, in his poppier stuff, straddles something that I understand a little better, which is blues and pop melody. So what you might think of, like standard pop melody. What's that called? Something that's in key, diatonic.
Diatonic, yep.
But then you can, once you're starting to get into a few of his riffs and licks and stuff, you can rewind a bit and get into his earlier stuff where he was a great deal more jazzy. Sure. And it speaks to you. Yeah. And same with in a slight, and then that leads pretty quickly to Wes Montgomery, who again, there's bits of that I can understand, but to leap straight into Pat for me is like, this just sounds like a bag of spanners going down the stairs.
Sure, but I guess it took a long time for me to get there. I guess the only other thing that I would say is, you don't have to know everything to start playing jazz. You can start playing jazz. You can start looking at the things about jazz that you like and then work them out. But you do that for every song. Like, there are melodies that I hear Neil Finn sing, and I've just got to stop and work it out.
Mike Golden says, start with blues and then stop playing the leads and just play the chords, but play the right chords.
Sure.
And that, I guess that's, what do we get to then? Bebop, basically.
Yeah. Blues is a really wonderful, for me, it's one of the first things that you learn, when you first go, on day one of playing, it's like, oh, this is really cool. And it's something that, as you progress on your journey, then you get into your bar chords, and then you start getting to your, stuff, and it's something that as you progress on your journey, the blues just expands with you.
Yeah.
It's great. Anyway.
It is. It's good luck.
Yeah, good luck, mate.
If you just find a way in and then work out. But, I mean, on a much more prosaic level, I've started ground-up guitar lessons, and I'm really floundering, because I just can't find a way forward from learning the fingerboard. So I know I've got to spend months learning the fingerboard, but I'm already bored out of my brain, and I just can't see where it's going. So I don't have the guts to keep going with it, basically.
Yeah.
So I've fallen on stony ground.
This comes back to that thing of me saying I've been practicing the wrong thing for 40 years.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
So it's got to be some mix of inspiration to get to different plateaus as you go up through your playing or go along your playing, but also doing it in a way that isn't just about a pure reward and enjoyment. It's also you are actually building some foundation.
Yeah.
And that's the hard bit.
Yeah.
I'm still in awe of people who are able to approach it that way. 1% improvement every day.
Yeah.
Why can't I do that?
Scott Gaylor, Solo, the app from Tom Quayle, is pretty amazing as well. Yeah. If you really want to getting into understanding harmony and understanding the fretboard, the Solo app is unbelievable. It's such a unique approach to it. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
How we doing?
We've still got many Super Chai to go.
Eagle Ray Rob Talfalo, yeah. When I was studying
Barney
jazz,
Castle.
there's an amazing concert with Talfalo, John Abercrombie, John Schofield, and it's like all these guys, who were in
Add John Schofield to that list, Sam. He's great to listen to.
Yeah.
Seattle Phil.
Hey, Seattle Phil.
Greetings, pavement pounders. I'm going to Nashville and Memphis for the first time in a couple of weeks. Any recommendations other than stalking Uncle Larry? Groons is on my radar. Recommendations from the comments are also welcome.
You have to ask Mick because we still haven't been there yet. I still want to go and we haven't.
It's a shame the Gibson factory is no longer in Memphis because that was always worth a look. Where they made all the ES type guitars and other things. In Nashville, where was the place that Mythos Sack used to work? Carter Vintage.
You're right.
I believe is in Nashville, so that's got to be worth a look. Don't know much about Memphis. I've been there, walked up and down Beale Street. The thing I remember about Beale Street among going to BB King's was a sign saying "Big Ass Beers to Go." I took a picture of it and it's still on my phone somewhere.
Just trying to work out how that would work.
Yeah. So we're probably not... Dan and I don't spend a lot of time stateside for no other reason than we don't live in the US. So we're probably not the best people to ask, but I would have thought Carter Vintage Guitars is a good shout. Yeah, comments. If you're more knowledgeable than me and Dan, please add them to the comments. For Seattle Phil, who I'm assuming is travelling from northwest United States. Jeremy Watercotter. Fantastic weekend. My new Top Hat amp arrived after an
nice
8-month wait.
So good.
And I saw John Frusciante play live in Philly with the Chili's. A vintage Strat Parade, but the tones from his Telly, Custom and CE1 stole the show.
Yeah.
Nice.
CE1s will do that when you hit them hard enough.
Telly's always a nice break when you've been listening to Strats all day as well, isn't it?
Yeah. It was really interesting. I heard some old... I was never a big Chili's fan, but I remember you saying how much you enjoyed John's playing. And I went back and had a listen to some old Chili's with a new set of ears because I haven't listened to them for so long. It's like, oh wow, he's really, really good.
Yeah. Just immense feel and I certainly Blood Sugar Sex Magic
yes, that was the
period
album.
Chili's was a massive deal for me, personally speaking. Yeah, him and I've said this before, but him and Mike McCready from Pearl Jam did more to get me into Hendrix than SRV ever did.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Those two, Frusciante and Mike McCready. That was kind of like, because I've been such a massive SRV fan. And then I heard McCready and John Frusciante, and I was like, wow. Strats, Marshalls, Univibes, Fuzzes.
Right. Awesome.
G Barge. Hello, G. He says Soul Brothers. Nice. I'm SOLE, obviously. I'm heading to Alaska tomorrow for some eagles and bear.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought it said eagles and beer, which would have been, I don't know if that's worse than bears or better, but either is good. Eagles and bear. Anything you'd like from the Red Dog Saloon? Saw and recommend Beside Bowie, the Mick Ronson story. Inspired an effort to listen for melody. Cheers, guys. Yeah, that's a documentary, I believe, isn't it? The Mick Ronson story, Beside Bowie.
Yeah.
Such a fascinating guy.
Yeah.
Such a talented guy.
Yeah.
What else have you watched recently, Dan, that would be a recommend?
Wow. Okay. Oh, I saw the documentary on the 1999 Woodstock. That was absolutely terrifying. Did you hear about that? They did a documentary they did Woodstock again in '99, and it was a hellscape.
Yeah.
So that was fascinating.
My wife is trying to get me to listen to Dave Grohl's book. Apparently that's really brilliant.
Right.
I don't have time. I have no opportunity to listen to books anymore. I should do it on the dog walk, really, but I'm too busy trying to not listen to anything
I've bought a lot of them.
and enjoy the countryside. Bought a lot of the books.
Bought a lot of them.
Yeah.
If you looked at the list of my library and my thing, it looks like I'm
Well, ahead of the
educated.
impending energy crisis, I've cancelled a lot of subscriptions to lots of things.
Yeah.
One of which is Audible. So yeah. Yeah, what else have I watched recently that's been really good?
Oh yeah, Jack D says 1971, the year that changed music.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, really good.
I'm just trying to think, because we tend to watch all of those docos, because there's quite a lot of good ones on Netflix.
What was the Questlove that had documentary that I saw that was just incredible? It was happening at the same time as Woodstock in Harlem. It's like a music festival in Harlem.
Oh, no way.
That Questlove found all this amazing footage of.
If you don't know, Questlove's a drummer, played for Prince among others.
And it is just wonderful. Just the sound is just crazy good. Nina Simone doing a thing.
Oh, no way. That's a good one. Her story's far out.
Yep.
Far out. Yeah. Tragically far out, actually.
Anyway, so that was really good. And there was another thing that I've seen recently that was... I watched there's a great documentary on Pat Martino. I watched it again recently.
I watched a good one on Teddy Pendergast.
Oh, no way. Wow.
Who I had no idea who Teddy Pendergast was.
Right.
Which is kind of ironic.
Yeah.
If you don't know me, I know. If you don't know me. His life story is... I mean, you almost feel guilty for watching it.
Yeah.
It's like a compendium of bad luck.
God.
Yeah. So quite watchable, unfortunately.
Yes.
But what a voice, man.
So
Anyway,
that doco is called Summer of Soul, the one by Questlove. But the other one that I watched, which was brilliant, is Pistols.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, man. It is unreal. So, yeah, there you go.
Right. Saw Pearl Jam on Saturday night, says D-Mac. Mike McCready was the star of the show. Yeah, I kind of gave up on them after Vitalogy,
Right.
I think, maybe, because it just went in a direction that I was less interested in. And I know lots of Pearl Jam fans will find that utter sacrilege and impossible to understand. I would like to go see them again and just see...
Well, that would be fun.
Reconnect with... Because they were absolutely my favourite band around that time.
Really?
Around
Wow.
certainly the big album, the red one, 10 and V's,
Right.
which I think was the next record. They were easily my favourite band
Right.
at the time. And then I got a bit lost after that.
Right.
But yeah, be good to see them. Hope that I'm that everyone who goes to see them says they're magically brilliant.
Right.
Still.
Yeah.
Nice. Chris Groom says David Gilmour, Wider Horizons for UG. Check that out. Scott Gaylor says Guitar Centre in Nashville is pretty good. For
Yeah, I don't doubt it, actually.
For
Yeah.
Seattle Phil.
Yeah. I went to the Guitar Centre in LA and was blown away. Their vintage section was just awesome. Yeah.
Have a good trip, G.
Indeed, mate. Have
you
fun.
seen plenty of Eagles and Bear. Alaska always reminds me of Ice Road Truckers. Joe's taking the big rig across the ice today. He's really worried the ice might break and he might end up under the ice. It's going to be a long day for Joe. Joe's buying coffee from the coffee shop.
Oh no, he spilled his coffee on the ice.
No,
the ice is starting to melt. There goes his truck. Bye, Joe.
One of his tires has got some mud on it, and Joe's worried he's not going across the ice. It's been a long day. 26 minutes later, Joe's trip across the ice was completely successful.
Next week, Steve is worried about his trip across the ice.
Yeah, Ice Road Truckers, brilliant. What a job. Telecathster. Hello, Kath. Hi, both. Any creative ideas one could do with 2 expression pedals, mainly for P and W ambient genres? P and W?
Praise and worship.
Maybe a mod wheel like the keyboard players do, but how?
A mod wheel on an expression pedal. So 2 expression pedals.
Yeah, I think, well, it depends how you have them set up, because if you have, so for example, if you were running a fully MIDI-able rig, you could assign your expression pedal to do multi-functions, and it wouldn't necessarily need to do one thing at a time, it could do 2 things at once.
Yeah.
If you've got 2 expression pedals, obviously operating them both at the same time is quite difficult unless you're sat, or you can use one foot to straddle them both. But I guess it's any parameter you can think of editing on the fly. So that what might that be? Volume, might be effect depth. It might be effect rate. So if you think about something like a tremolo or anything else that has a rate. Could be frequency. In the show on Friday, Joey had 2 parameters hooked up to an expression pedal, one of which is volume, one of which is low pass filter. So you get this really brilliant in and out. So yeah, I mean it could be anything, couldn't it? One quite nice thing to do is if you send a load of level through your wet effects and if it's a huge tail of delay and reverb and you back off that and you can play something as it's
trailing,
that can be pretty cool.
Yeah, there's so many creative options with that. I would say that one expression pedal, if you've got 2 and you've got the option for one expression pedal to control like the maximum wet depth of something, if you're in a dance mix, sometimes having just for example, if you've got loads of delays and reverbs happening, that can be really nice, but also having the ability to dial back that wet amount if you're in a really dense mix so that it doesn't become mushy. But then there are times when you can lean into that and then just let that speak. So that's I
mean, it might sound like that's a bit more prosaic or practical, but actually that's creative in its own sense. So the only time I ever use an expression pedal is when I'm trying to control my delay level,
right?
Because if you've got a whole bunch of gains happening before your delay, when you step on a gain pedal, there's a load more signal hitting your delay. Therefore, the wet effect thereafter is going to be the delay sound is going to be much louder. So you can just ease off it a little bit.
Yeah.
And it could be that in sections of songs, for example, it's the creative thing to do is to just pad it out more. If the piece of music is a little more sparse, or there's a beautiful piece of singing or something like that, you don't have to play any notes. You can just pad it out so the pad goes underneath.
Yeah.
And likewise, in more complex passages, you might want to lay off the wet effects a bit. So
Yeah.
I always think that works pretty well.
Yeah.
Light and
Great.
shade.
Very good.
Yeah. Eric Zenhausen. Hello, Eric. He says, cheers and thanks for your inspiration. I've been playing guitar for 40 years and I can honestly say I'm getting pretty good.
Well done. Wish I could say that.
Me too. However, I'm starting to get tendinitis from playing. Any tips on avoiding and dealing with RSIs?
Yeah. It's plagued me for a while, and I've tried everything, and I had some what are they called, ultrasound guided steroid injections into this elbow recently, or say 6 months ago. Thought, brilliant, it solved it, and then 2 weeks ago it's like, oh no, it's back.
The worst thing you can do is stay in the same position. So if you practice in one position, that's literally the worst thing you can do. So get up and move around, number one. Number two, find a good sports physio. I'd almost say don't bother with doctors. You might have to get a referral, but they're not interested in shit like that. Go and see someone who knows about it.
Yep.
And they're pretty good with muscle stuff. But if you have an RSI, it's repetitive strain injury. It's something you're doing repeatedly that's causing strain.
No one knows who they were.
Yeah. So you need to stop that.
You stop it. Whatever you're doing,
and you need
the
way of stopping it. Positionally could be a thing. It might be that you just need to stand up. Might be that you need to wear your guitar lower or higher. Might need to be that you move around. A good sports physio is also going to be able to give you some exercises and some physio to do. That would be a good place to start.
Totally.
But if it keeps hurting, you've got to stop, because you can end up doing really serious damage.
Yeah, ice and that sort of stuff, and massage is for me has been the simplest, best, quick fix. But it might be that you need some, just keep an eye on it. If it hurts, stop. If whatever you're doing is causing pain, just stop doing it.
Yeah.
And then find a different way to do it.
Tim Lurch has some advice, and I would take Tim's advice. It is warm up, cool down, stretch frequently, hydrate. Lighten up on unnecessary pressure.
Yeah.
Locate tension and work to soften it. Yeah, that I was going to add, actually understand what it is.
Yeah.
Because there are various, depending on where it is, there are various conditions, and if you understand the condition, that can be the beginning. But there we go. Tim is going to know better than anybody. Warm up, cool down, stretch, hydrate. Work on unnecessary pressure.
Yeah.
One of the things is, I think when you are working on a piece or you're working on something, you can get pretty tense. And therefore you might find that you're putting too much tension on the neck that you don't need to. So a bit of technique improvement. Big part of that's breathing. I sound like a hippie, but I do a bit of stretching.
No, you sound like a hippie if you went, the best part of that is breathing, man. That sounded like a hippie.
I do a little bit of stretching and breathing most mornings if I can. Breathing is a massive part of being well in general, and it can help to release tension all over the place. And it might be, I've watched Dan do this, when he's really playing, he stops breathing. And that is
I don't want to get excited.
damn tootin' way that you're going to be putting too much pressure on if you're not relaxed. So Tim, thank you for that awesome advice.
Wendell Laffin says, easiest way to remove tension is to stop using a metal zone. Well played, sir. Well played.
And BV Ninjas come in. Pressure and tension is your enemy. Yeah, I think those are super wise words.
Pressure also creates diamonds.
Try acupuncture, says Geezer. Someone's saying try lighter gauge strings. That could be true. I would also say I get much more problems, if I've ever had problems, with little necks. Big necks on guitars, much less problems. Now, might be the opposite for you, but it could be something in the physical shape of the guitar
right.
you want to look at. I rather suspect that what BV is talking about and what Tim Lurch is talking about makes much more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck, and we hope that that doesn't become a bigger problem. Oh my God, we are going to have to speed up a bit, Daniel. Carl Longbottom.
Hey, Carl.
Hello, Carl.
He texted me today.
Nice.
Showed me a picture of a new guitar that he's been working on, which is rather spiffy.
Nice. He says Simpsons or Family Guy.
Oh man, well it was Simpsons for the longest time, and we have a connection to the Simpsons only because one of the art directors, John Ackenbach, who's a fan of the show, when we were in America, he said, once you finish that NAMM, I'll give you a tour of the Simpsons studio. We actually went and had a tour, and John drew Simpson characters for us, and then actually drew a Mick and Dan in the version of the Simpsons. Mind blowing. So that's obviously very cool. However, Seth Macfarlane, he has a direct line to my funny bone.
Me too. Family Guy every day.
Family Guy is just, it's just brilliant. Actually, he also done a show called The Orville, which is like a take on Star Trek, his version of Star Trek.
Okay.
And I thought it was going to be hilarious, and there are funny moments in it, but it's really serious. It's really full on, and he's a massive Trekkie fan. And it's really good. So any sci-fi fans out there, The Orville is great. But Family Guy, yep, absolutely.
Hayden Mowbray.
Hey, Hayden.
Hope you're doing all right. Hayden came to our experience day on Friday, along with others, lovely humans. Sommeliers of Tone, thanks again for the fantastic time at TPS Towers on Friday. Top tones, top tucker, and great company. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Hayden.
Thank you, buddy.
It was lovely to meet you.
Yeah, mate. It was really great.
Or at least to hang out a bit more. We have met before. Isaac Morris, remind us again, where did Dan's hats come from?
Trendhim.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trendhim. That's where we found them.
Yeah. I think they're Danish, maybe. Trendhim.com. I think it might be a Danish company. Zach Sandoval. Hello, Zach. Favourite stacks to help fuzz poke out in a mix more. I'm currently running a Park Fuzz Wampler Bell AC30, and it's pretty cool.
If you're running the Park Fuzz into the Wampler Bell, then yeah, because that's going to soften the edges of the Park Fuzz. But then it depends on how you're running your AC30. Having some form of limiting, whether it's a little bit of sort of limiting from the amplifier, or whether you've got, like Mick will often put a clon after his fuzz, and it just takes a tiny bit off those edges, but also helps push those mids through. And that's one thing with a lot of traditional fuzzes that are really bassy. Yeah. And because of the square wave, like the harder the edges are, the more raspy that top end is, and having some mid pushing there can really help. So if you've got the Wampler Bell after the super fuzz,
he does,
then it's a absolutely killer
just
way to do it.
A bit of shaping.
Yeah.
Because one of the exactly what he just said. We had questions about it at the experience day on Friday. Love fuzz, love the sound of it. Can't get it to work in a band mix, and that's why. Too much bass, too much mush. Shape it with something after. Get it a bit more nose on it. Cut some of that bass. Happy days. And for that reason, fuzz face, clon, slightly overdriving amp. These are happy hands. So yeah, something that does that job. What you probably wouldn't want is an overdrive pedal with loads of bass. That would make the problem worse. Yeah. Something that just, because the fuzz is going to have a lot of bass. A lot of that bass frequency is what causes that fuzz to be a fuzz in the first place. But then having something post that shapes it, it's great. And the bell's a really good option. We had a play of that in a recent video. It was really, really nice. Our dear chum Marcus Reeves came down a couple of weeks ago. We didn't film a show. He just came down to Shooten die Scheisse.
Look at those things. They're amazing.
And he brought a load of really cool, slightly odd fuzz pedals with him and left a bunch of stuff.
Troubadour.
That's a really nice Mark 1, apparently.
Oh, really?
Super
okay.
splitty.
Come on.
This is a really nice Mark 2 tone bender, for those of you who are interested. And we've got a whole bunch of other really cool, weird, fuzzy things. And we haven't done a fuzz show for about 3 weeks, so it's time.
Time for a fuzz show.
Time to
I know we're doing
one.
tomorrow then.
Yeah.
It's a veritable embarrassment of fuzzers. How lovely.
So, yeah, I mean, hats off to Marcus, isn't it? He's got a flipping pedal company and he brings us loads of pedals by other people.
Excellent. Oh, that's an R2R electric. Oh, man, I love this stuff. I was looking at
Their strides are confident, man.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. Gary Stewart.
Hey, Gary.
I was lucky enough to see the Bros at the Thekla in Bristol last night. Incredible playing in tones. It was the 6th time I've seen Joey since I was introduced to him by your show. So thank you. Nice one, Gary.
Well, you're so welcome. Joey is so funny. Whenever we see him or whenever he's on the show, again, any opportunity to get Joey in and play, because he's just one of the most inspiring musicians, inspiring people, and we love him dearly. He's a very good friend, both of mine and Mick, and any opportunity to hang with him is wonderful. But my daughter saw him for the first time last night as well, and Liv's very musical, and she is very emotionally connected to music. She was in tears listening to him sing, and Joey's so open and vulnerable emotionally as a performer.
Yeah.
And so I think that's part of that honesty about, and he'll talk openly about, his life and stuff, and it's really wonderful, and that
His
comes through.
nine
And
toes.
all that stuff is that third head. He's got
Weird
tuba
walk
behind
thing
here.
on the butt cheek. All that stuff.
All that stuff. Wrote a song about it. They're good, like this.
This is called My Hairy Butt Cheek.
And he just expresses it so beautifully, and it touches people. And I mean, I don't fully understand how Joey isn't one of the most famous musicians in the world, and I kind of selfishly, I love that we can just still go and see him in a little venue and do his thing. I say little venue. There's still
Yeah.
he plays really good venues and stuff, but
yeah.
He's still accessible to mere humans, and he's just a really special guy. And
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think also exploring that unbridled creativity and artistry that is unmolested by commerce.
right, okay, there you go.
Which is, what a choice for an artist to make. And with a lot of artists, that's all they can do. They can't do anything else. But, I'm pretty sure Joey could knock all the edges off, go to Nashville or LA and sell 50 times more records. But it's not
the life.
Not him, is it?
No.
It's not what he wants.
And God
And
bless him
when
for
I say
it.
Joey, I mean Dave too, because no doubt they are a unit.
Yeah.
Highly, highly, highly inspiring.
Yep.
Without, I don't know, whatever. Been a tough week, been an elating week, but both Dan and I have been a bit exhausted, like not moaning about it, but sometimes you push yourself a bit too far and you just get knackered. And I'd had quite a struggly weekend.
Sure. Yeah. There's no.
I was, yeah. And if anyone's had exhaustion, it's not just like being a bit tired, it's actually pretty tough to deal with. Going to that gig on Sunday night was exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
And I was stood there watching, and I just felt completely open and elated and uplifted again. And I came away wanting to play my guitar.
Yeah. Wow.
And I was like, wow, I haven't wanted to look at a guitar for some time
Right.
at the moment, because when you're knackered, you don't feel very creative.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow! And I was imagining all the things. I was thinking, time to write some songs and find a
That's
band
beautiful.
and do all that. It's
Yeah.
like that. And again, I say this with no reservation whatsoever. Music flipping changes the world.
Yeah.
and it changes people's lives. And the more we do it, and the more we engage with it. Long story short, Joey and Dave and Roman are absolutely engaged with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing cynical about it.
No, it's really wonderful.
It's a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing.
Buzz Crumhunger says, I'm also sadly commercially unmolested.
Yeah. It was never really a goal of that pedal show, was it? What we need is big numbers, Dan. See ya.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Howdy from Sacramento, California, says Zachary Manzanetti. Hi, Zachary.
Lovely.
Though I love my Monk, I got a Gravitas, Chase Bliss Black Gravitas, because of the MIDI.
Oh, okay.
What are your thoughts and recommendations re the Gravitas? P.S. Any plans for a Monk version 2 with speed and harmonic stroke standard switches via TRS? So one of the things you can do on the Chase Bliss Gravitas, because it is Chase Bliss, you've got all those tiny switches on the back, which means you can apply a lot of that functionality to expression controls and further remote switching.
Yep. And it's also MIDI stuff, so you can have presets and all that sort of, it's really cool.
Yeah, really clever. Would we add any of that stuff to the Harmonious Monk? We did talk about tap tempo.
Yeah.
That may happen in the future.
I don't feel any. No, I'd have to have a more compelling reason to do it. Because the way I use it is really simple, and it's like, and it just sounds so good. My concern is like, Red, I don't want to touch anything on it.
Yeah.
Because it just nails.
Yeah.
But
I think
exploration stuff.
If the Gravitas does that for you, then it's that's the right product for you.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. The other thing, of course, is Chase Bliss have got a platform for all of that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's within Jam's world at this point. Whether it would require significant infrastructure to add it. I'm not a big fan of all that stuff. I wouldn't want it.
Yeah. It kind of seemed a little bit inauthentic.
For me, but maybe not for Dan. If Dan turned around and said, I really want this, I'd be like, great, let's do it.
Sure.
Just show me how to turn it off. But no, we're glad you're loving the Gravitas. I mean, flipping heck. Chase Bliss stuff.
Man.
Unsurpassed.
So yeah.
Unsurpassed. I haven't actually listened to them side by side. I haven't done that. I should, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
Al Gorham.
Hey, Al.
Hey, Al. No question, just another thank you for ensuring there are fewer stumps on the internet. At least when you're broadcasting. Thank you, Al.
Thanks.
Says, salut slante. Be well and make more experience days available, pretty please. We did just make a bunch available, and they unfortunately sold out. So it's really tough because we can only have a certain number of people in order that it is a good experience for limited. Otherwise, if we fed 50 people through here, then it would be, you wouldn't really get the full experience. So it's necessarily limited. But thanks, Al. Always good to hear from you. Mike2203, who indeed has been to an experience day. Hello, Mike.
Hey, mate.
Hi, DNM. I set up my Squire strap whammy bar. We know you've been fighting with this, Mike. Floating as per the Carl Verheyen method, and it seems okay.
Oh, well done.
What angle should the bridge be tilted at?
So, if you look at the original instructions on Fender, I was really surprised because Mick showed me this ages ago, and it's actually quite...
It's higher than you think.
Yeah. It's
about 3 millimeters, I think. Could be as much as 3 millimeters. Maybe.
Yeah.
The back off the thing. Fender do publish the spec. Now, there's an argument to say, how much do you want up? How much up bend do you want?
Yeah.
Because as long as it's floating and you don't bend it back to hit the body, then that's fine. But I would say go for Fender's suggested spec. And I can't remember what that is. And that's just a case of loosening the claw in the back to balance out to the string tension to where you want it.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck. Zachary Manzanetti again. Thanks to the whole TPS team and chat. TPSers do a great job helping each other too. P.S. I'm still hoping for another run of the blue tritone shirts. Oh yeah, we should revisit that.
Yeah.
So, thanks for the recommendation.
They're fun.
We're always talking about what shirts to do next, so let's do that. Gary Varner. Hello, Toes. I'm loving the disaster transport that I got at Earthquaker Day. So cool to see you guys enjoying one in an old vid. Why are there so few Earthquaker pedals on TPS? I don't know. That's the answer to that, because their stuff is awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. I guess we don't really have... I don't know anyone at Earthquaker. But I guess it's just one of those companies that a lot of the stuff... So the guys that guys that work over at Gig Rig use a lot of their stuff. And like whenever I hear the Rainbow Machine, it's like, it's so creative, and it's actually quite simple, but it's a really creative thing, and that's been out a long time. And since then, they've come up with all manner of wonderful things. So what's the Tube Screamer variant one they had?
Yes, that one. Plumes?
Yes.
Is it the Plumes?
And yep, and that's great. And we've had the tape delay one.
Yeah, that's the disaster transport, which I think is now discontinued.
Right.
We did the other issue with something like EQD Earthquaker is that we did have their Astral Destiny on recently, Reverb, and we just got something massively wrong in it. We forgot that you're supposed to use an expression pedal. And there is a danger with companies that do... Right. Because Earthquaker are sort of very well renowned for slightly more out there stuff. And it does require, one should spend some considerable hours with this new stuff before you put it on the show. And Dan and I are both guilty of not doing that, not least because we don't have the hours. Funnily enough, Experience Day on Fridays said, how often do you come in here and play? I'm like, never. Literally never. Except for when we film. Which is not moaning, it's just the truth about trying to juggle businesses and, live.
Indeed.
I've been trying to have a relatively normal life of late, like going home, eating food, sleeping, and walking dog and things like that, and doing things like seeing family and stuff like that. And it dawned on me that after this week, when I was on magazines, I could do a week of 12, 14-hour days.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
Literally, I remember we used to do 100-hour weeks sometimes, and I'd be fresh as a daisy Monday morning after getting absolutely shit-faced all weekend. I just can't do it anymore.
No, me either.
And even if you take the drinking away, I cannot do 5 12-hour days anymore. I can't do it.
No.
So I don't know whether that's an age thing or what. Why am I talking about that?
No idea.
Yeah.
Tim Lurch says, do you guys know about the G to C trick? Tim.
I want to know.
Okay. What love is.
What you... I don't want you to show me. Please don't show me.
I think we're good. I think we're on solid ground there.
I don't think that would be love.
I think you're okay.
Please don't show me what.
Please don't show me. Especially you.
Yeah. Paul Matulovic, Digital Phalanges. Just sorting out my last bookings for Experience Day.
Sorry, I got it.
Phalange, not flange.
I know. Oh, that's very good.
Just sorting out my last bookings for the Experience Day. Out of curiosity, does Dan have his big chopper at TPS Towers?
Indeed, I do.
And on a side note, there will be plenty of Petty John goodies in tow.
Oh, man. Fantastic.
Nice. We're looking forward to seeing you, Paul. We're looking forward to meeting you. And everyone else coming to the next Experience Day. Now, interestingly enough, a certain Landreth came in here being happy with a direct bass root tone and left revisiting a custom-made tube amp root tone.
And Steve Crow went down
Or we shouldn't, I probably shouldn't say that, should we?
No, there's those pictures and stuff. And
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Steve went down and met the boys and stuff, and so
big shout out to Barefaced, actually. Barefaced Cabs. So we Dave turned up and he had a couple, and we said, why don't you try our Wallace 1965? Insane thing back there. I don't know if it's the loudest amp we own, but it's certainly got a tremendous amount of headroom. And Dan and I were like, this is a really, really great bass amp. Do you want to try it? And Dave's like, yeah, sure. So we plugged it into our cabs on day one, which is what the video is going to be, and you'll hear that. It sounds fine. The next day, the Barefaced 212 turned up, and it was like, oh my God, it sounded so good. So Dave left on a quest to get rid of his direct route and go back to a really nice tube bass amp.
Yeah. Now we had the Wallace. Dave plugged into it and was like, oh,
there it is.
Far out, man. Sounds so good.
There it is.
Right. I'm going to try your trick, Tim. Do any of your whammies have an up?
No.
Okay. Can't try your trick, Tim.
God forbid. I can make one have an up.
That's all right. No, that's all right.
Okay. It's very easy.
You've got to screw stuff and then
No, you
retune.
don't. Nah, that'll be fine.
They're taking the spring out. Ah, look at you.
This is Transit Van, which has almost been sold twice and still hasn't, so something's telling me it needs to stay here. I've got water on my fingers.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you. Perfect.
You work on that. I'll
Okay.
answer some more questions.
Thank you.
It doesn't have a flipping spring in the bottom of it, which is really annoying.
Okay.
She says she can hear I'm eating too much sugar on the road. She says my larynx is fat. Says Aaron from Helmer's Band. Howdy, my dudes. Name a movie where the sequel was better than the original. Per usual, I love you. The second Bill and Ted film. Return of the Jedi?
No.
I'm just trying to be as controversial as possible.
Thank you. Return of the Jedi is third, but it's actually sixth in the order of the Star Wars things.
It was The Empire Strikes Back, wasn't it?
Empire
The
Strikes
second
Back
one.
was the second one. It's actually episode 5. Where these... Oh, come on. There is one that's really obvious. I mean, Godfather, I think is an easy win for number 2.
Wayne's World.
No. Oh, no.
What's the one with Cassandra in it? That's number 2, isn't it?
Yeah, that wasn't better than the first one. No, Cassandra was in the first one. Yeah. No, it wasn't. Yeah, no. Oh, yeah. It's so tricky, isn't it? But
Hate to say it, Maverick Top Gun, says Sam. Get
yes.
out of town.
Yes.
No way.
Absolutely, 100%.
No, I watched it. I paid Amazon 15 of my hard-earned pounds to watch it.
Did you not like it?
The plane bits, the flying stuff, and all of that, just unbelievably spectacular.
Right.
Rest of it,
Oh, come on. I thought it was great.
cheesy. I mean, I know the first one was cheesy, but it was unnecessarily cheesy. And
Okay.
where was Kelly McGillis? No mention where she's gone.
Yeah. I think...
Younger model who wasn't in the first thing just appears out of nowhere.
Isn't that what they do?
I'm just not happy with it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. And
I thought it
Viper
was
wasn't in
brilliant.
it. Was he? Maybe he's not around anymore. Or was he? Maybe Viper was in it.
Viper?
The old instructor with the flat top.
He... Oh,
Val
I
Kilmer
don't
actually
know.
does have an issue with his...
yeah, he's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was really good, and the flying stuff just flipping breathtakingly amazing. But yeah, pretty cheesy, I thought.
Right. So Timothy Lurch says, play a G triad on the top 3 strings at the 7th fret, pull up on the bar, and it becomes a C6. So, G triad. Oh yeah! Wow. Come on! That's really cool.
Is that like Is that like?
Is it C6?
It's a bit like in Albatross. Is it? Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Thanks.
That's
Tim.
great, Tim. Thank you.
For anyone who didn't catch that, get a strap with a whammy bar. Play G, like D-shaped G, like Dan just did. And to all the musicologists out there, I'm really sorry for saying a D-shaped G. D major triad.
G major triad.
G major triad, and then pull the bar up. And it becomes a C6.
Very good.
Nice.
Thanks Tim.
Aliens.
Oh yes, winner. Aliens, genius.
Yeah.
Terminator 2.
Yes. 100%.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good shout.
Shooty scores.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a good shout.
Because I don't see Arnie as a villain. He's not a villain. He's a lovely man. If you want to live, go with Arnie.
Toy Story.
That's Toy Story 2, I think, had that song with Jessie. And I'd learnt it years ago when Liv was watching Toy Story. And do you remember it?
No.
It is the perfect Disney tune. But I think, how can we make you cry in about a minute 30 seconds with a song and this? And it's like thinking about it now. Actually, I get a bit.
I think get Kerry King in playing "Everybody Dies," and then just a big pile of like
ash,
bits of plastic and cloth and stuff, like
Brilliant.
a liquidizer.
Yep, great. When She Loved Me, thank you, Music Online. That honestly, it is a masterclass of songwriting for film for a specific thing.
Sorry, kids, this is how it actually ends.
Where's Jessie? She's going into Chipper.
Yeah. Yeah, life's a bitch, but at least you die.
There we go.
Try that.
Very good.
We love you too, Aaron. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Shawnee is Cubs fan 1. Oh, I'm hungry for
Burger.
burger. Yeah.
Okay.
Question for Dan. Did you name your 52 reissue telly after Butters in South Park? How does it compare to Red?
I didn't name it after Butters. It was a happy accident because it's butterscotch. Is it? I don't even think it is butterscotch, is it?
Yeah, but that's why it's called Butters. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Quick thing.
I haven't seen that guitar for ages. Did you bring it down today?
No, it was in the case.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, a lot of my guitars are in the case.
Oh, I have to put them away when we have bands in.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll give that.
Oh, there you go. Do you practice your...
Does it work?
Yeah, it's great. Okay. Squee double squee. Right. Butters. 52 custom shop reissued. It's got a lovely...
Get my Jeff Beck on.
Thicker neck. Obviously, it's a one-piece maple. And it has a... This... I haven't tuned this guitar. It's been sat in the case for months. Obviously, I'm not completely in tune, but boy, it's not bad. And it has a different... It's a little bit softer in certain things, a bit... The bottom end extends a little bit lower than Red.
Yeah,
It doesn't have the mid-range that Red's got, but it does have a sparkly top end that's really beautiful.
sounds like the archetypal Blackguard Telly, that
Yeah.
guitar. Red
Yeah.
sounds like being punched in the face with a brick.
Yeah. So, yeah, Red's different. The neck's a bit thinner. It's got so much more mid-range.
Faster attack,
Yeah.
way louder.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's, yeah, and it just... It...
Older body, rosewood fingerboard, ash body, maple neck.
Yeah. But it's a, what do you call a round lamb fingerboard. Yeah, they are vastly different guitars.
They are similar only in shape.
Yeah. You hear them recorded, you wouldn't believe, I mean, yeah, they're just so different. Yeah.
Nice. Favourite clean boost? Mark Ritchie wants to know, what about a compressor as a clean boost?
Compressor is a wonderful clean boost. So funny. The experience day the other day, and I had my original the 74 MXR Dynacomp, but the first one I had, which is the case was broken, so it was rehoused.
Is it a Thunder?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it was my stomach for burger, looking for... No, but that is Thunder. Anyway, so someone asked me about effects and, you know, how new things compared to old things. And I said, it's one of those things that I can't really quantify because the new stuff is obviously awesome and we love it. But check this out. And I grabbed this old MXR Dynacomp and I plugged it in. And I said, I'm going to use this as a boost, right? Just put a tiny bit of compressor on and turned it up. And everyone there just went, it was floored by how flippin' awesome it sounded. And that was into the little Marshall Class 5, right? So, and I used to do that a lot, use the compressor at the front, but have it as a boost with only a tiny bit of compression on, but quite a lot of volume. It is a great way to do it.
Yeah, the thing I can't get on with the Dynacomp is the amount of front of note that you lose.
But that's if you're using it as a traditional squishy compressor.
Yeah.
If you turn that compression down,
Really, it does get
absolutely.
there, does it? Every
It's
time I've heard
really
it, I've
great.
only ever heard it rob too much. Yeah, so good shout. You definitely can use a compressor.
Yeah.
And if you find there is too much compression, if you get one that's got a clean blend, you can have more of the front of the note.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so totally good way to do it. My two favourite boost pedals are this. Thorpe Heavy Water.
Oh
This.
man,
Which is upside down. Which is the More by Monty's, which I tried for the first time last week. Just two JFETs
yeah, right.
that run into one another if you want.
With a loop in the middle.
4 jacks
Yeah.
if you don't want. Just boosty, 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 boost. That's like
It's like a
boosty, 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 boost with a punch in the face as well. That thing should have a health warning on it.
yeah.
And for that reason, I love it.
Yeah.
Thorpe Heavy Water.
Indeed.
Funnily enough, I'm looking forward to getting the TS1 back, which is out with Joey, because the 2-Oct TS1 is a Dumble overdrive special style amp. And I've been trying various overdrive pedals with it, which are fine in the clean channel, some of which are fine in the clean channel. And I think what it actually needs is just boosts.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm quite interested to
man.
try that Thorpe boost.
I reckon that's going to be spectacular.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Okay.
Yeah. Why do you need boosts with an ODS type amp? Well, I like the overdrive channel not absolutely melting. I
Yeah.
like it
Bit of
still
room to
very
move.
articulate.
Yeah.
And then you might want heavier overdrive for which a boost would work.
Yes, indeed.
Alex Bales. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
We have a super chat, but no question Let's see. No questions come in. So, Alex, sorry if we've missed your question, but thank you for your super chat.
Yeah, a lot of people saying they're using compressors as boosts, and yeah, it's a great way to do it.
Yep. Because then, of course, you can, if your boost is a little too strident, you can just round off the edges with the compressor. Great way to do it.
Yep.
Greetings from Sweden, says William Turner. Have you guys heard any of the new Magnatone amps?
Yes. On stage with Neil Finn.
Yeah.
He whips out the Magnatone.
He sounded pretty good with it.
He sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
He was not too shabby.
I haven't heard anyone say they don't love them.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Yeah.
So it would be good to hear one.
Yeah.
It would be really good to hear one. Thank you, William. Sergio Martinez. What fuzz or distortion should I pair with my Protein overdrive?
Oh, good question.
Protein by whoever they are.
Brown
amplification. Always confusing for me because it's in a green box.
Yeah. It's BROWNE, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's... Yeah, anyway. So you've got two sides of the Protein. One side...
Noble's ODR one.
Other side's a Blues Breaker. Distortion to use with those. I mean, it depends how much gain you need. I mean, if you're using those not too gainy, you could stack them in. Be a wicked distortion. Just try actually a Rat. I think a Rat with that would be really great because you've got a couple of pedals there that that they're not. I think the mid range is in a really nice place, and I think it's in a similar place in the Rat. Yeah, that'd be good. What else is good?
Thanks, PV. So one of the issues you've got depends how much gain you're running.
Exactly.
Tube Screamer, which is not in the Protein, is a really good shaper for a fuzz for lots of reasons. And I guess depending on how much top end you put into the Nobles, I know it's a very different thing, but you can still get it quite mid-pushed. So it's all about the bottom end in that Nobles. Like if you run a fuzz face into that and it's letting too much bottom end through, and I've got a feeling the Blues Breaker lets quite a lot of bottom end through as well.
Yeah.
Dan's laughing because I said push into the bottom end.
No, I'm laughing because Bartlett O'Shea just said, I'm playing TPS VCQ Guitar Bingo, and thanks to Red, I just won.
So you might want something that can shave off a little bottom end. For which we would usually recommend something from the Tone Bender family.
Yeah.
Rather than a fuzz face. So you might want to find a Tone Bender. And often, but not always, Tone Benders can be a little happier in the signal chain than some fuzz face types. So where are you? You are in the United States of America. Yeah.
What are you thinking?
It's such a hard question, isn't it? It's like, what shall I have for dinner tonight?
Yeah, burgers.
Because
it depends so much. A muff could
brilliantly.
work. Yeah, a muff could work. All I would say is, and I often head back to the Fallout Cloud from Thorpe, because one of the massive things about muff is this massive bottom end, and actually being able to curtail that a bit is the real strength for the Fallout Cloud for me, because it helps it. The brown that you've got in those two pedals, it's just got a really lovely, appropriate amount of bass frequencies. And I think one thing about the muff is, if you love that massive woolliness, fantastic. But if you want that cascading distortion of the muff, but control over this bottom end frequencies, then yeah, Fallout Cloud's a great shout. Or any other muff style circuit that has that ability. But yeah, I think Rat. Grab a Rat. No, but I do like them.
Brian Garcia again.
Hey, Brian.
Hello, Brian. Hello, Lords of Tonehenge. Would you ever consider a show on approaching rigs using humbuckers when you've always used single coils with pedals to match? Picking up an artisan-aged Heritage H150, my first proper humbucker. Thank you.
So we're going to film a show tomorrow, and it will cover this. And it's a show on... One of the questions that comes up all the time, and we have talked about it before, but I think what we need to do is just really nail it on. And
we get more questions about anything at all. That's not very good English. The thing we get asked more than anything else is, what order should I put my overdrive pedals in?
Yeah.
How do I stack my overdrive pedals?
Yeah. And it's
everyone's confused about it still.
Yeah. And it's one of those things we talk about asking better questions. And there's a much better question to ask there.
With better English.
With better English, you're good. You know, you can't get no more gooder than that. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you, the gain structure and all that sort of stuff. But there's a few fundamental things that if you keep in mind will answer that question. So yeah.
I regularly play 2 humbucker guitars, one Les Paul, one 335, and sometimes a PRS DGT. I chose those guitars because they have to work with my rig as it is, so I don't do anything differently. The only thing I might do is if rule of thumb generally is less gain with the humbuckers, because it just gets too mushy. So it might be that I've got 3 different overdrive pedals on my board. It might be that one combination is better suited to the humbuckers and different combinations are better suited to the single coils. But it's literally that. It's thinking about right from your pick all the way down your cable into your first pedal, all the way through that right out to the amp is all gain staging. It's all gain staging. So at what point is it too much?
It's too much.
And at what point is it not enough?
Yeah.
And it's just understanding your rig to the point where you push it at the points you want to push it. Push it good. You know Salt and Pepper?
Yeah.
I think one of them was because there was 3 of them.
So pepper.
So I think there was salt, pepper.
Okay.
I think.
Ah, boy.
Salvatore Caruso says, my wife told me to choose between her and my guitar, so next week I'm buying a custom shop strap. Boys, let's go. I'm gonna miss her. Great Brad Paisley song, I'm gonna miss her. It's got one of the most outrageous guitar solos ever recorded in it.
Yep.
It's about he's going fishing and his wife says, if he hits that fishing hole today, she'll be gone by noon. I'm gonna miss her. Brad Paisley, I'm gonna miss her. Listen to the guitar solo. Holy majolies.
Yes.
I am flagging, Dan.
Okay, how we doing?
Badly. Paul Matunovic. Paul says, an experience with Poison Noises pedals. I'm figuring out how to squirrel away pedals effectively for the trip over. And any familiarity with Honey Picks, who makes Petty John's picks. Right, Poison Noises, I've just Googleized them. Got a strong whiff of JHS about it, if I'm honest.
A strong whiff of JHS?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it was Salt and Pepper and Spinderella.
Oh, Spinderella. Was it? And she was, I hope, was the DJ.
Yeah, I'm assuming so. Thicker, fresh. And that's her.
Yeah. Push it good. Yeah. Incidentally, I did a tour of British and American Army bases, not as a soldier, as a music. Song was Voodoo Child. And Salt and Pepper, Let's Talk About Sex Baby had just come out.
Right.
And so you open with Voodoo Child and then they say, can you play Let's Talk About Sex by Salt and Pepper? And I'm like, what do you think? I mean, we have neither salt nor pepper, nor anything remotely the same. Here's Tightrope by Stevie Ray Vaughan. Get off! That was a learning experience.
Right.
We got out the van and the promoter says, where's your girl singer? We're like, we don't have a girl singer. He gets out the photo and he goes, what about her? And it was our lead singer, Alistair, who had long hair. It was like literally...
Is that real?
Like, I'm getting a little shaggy back here myself.
I better not get too close. I might get confused with the band.
Yeah.
I am joking, of course.
I am joking, of course. Oh, God, we are going to get there. No, haven't any experience of poison noises. They look like funky fellas. Honey picks? I don't know. There was a thing called chicks on picks here that was just nasty.
Yeah, no thanks.
Hopefully honey picks isn't the same. No, always interested in picks. Now, somebody gave me a pick the other day. Who was that? Somebody gave it to me. It's a DeAndrea one.
Okay.
Which is a little closer to the dear old tortoise shell. So it's a bit softer, works on the acoustic.
Oh, okay, it's got a bit of flex in it.
It doesn't sound as hard as the prime tones.
But that's one thing I do love about the Prytones.
Me too on electric, but it doesn't work on my Collings. Acoustic.
Right. Okay.
So it's good for strumming. I don't pick on the acoustic really.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah,
I really want to try one of those blue chip picks.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Can you get them? Didn't they shut all the chip manufacturers down?
Probably.
We're having chips with our burgers tonight.
Come on.
Nice. No, bring Sam Paul, and we'll get nerdy over picks. Christopher Rosenqvist. What a great name. Hey guys, just writing to say that the guitar cable for a robot lawnmower the guide cable for a robot lawnmower is very audible through an electric guitar rig. Cheers for all you do.
Sorry, one more time for the cheap seats.
Christopher Rosenqvist has a robot lawnmower.
A robot lawnmower, okay.
And there's a guide cable. And apparently, because I guess the robot lawnmower needs to know where to go.
Right.
And when he sets it, he can hear it through his electric guitar rig. So he's got some sort of crosstalk.
Well, what might be happening is it's just it'd be an electric thing, right? And it'd be so you've got a massive motor, and it just could be moving the earth, and that earth comes through as AC, which is you can pick up in your rig. Yeah, I could. Don't mow while you're playing guitar. It's probably a health and safety disaster. Actually, no, because it's a robot mower, so he's not doing it.
Yeah.
He's got a. How does that work though? What do you set up the?
Like a robot Hoover. Could be a GPS, I guess.
Yeah, but you don't have to when you're hoovering. What would be the point of setting up wires for your robot Hoover? You might as well just flip and hoover. By the time you set up the wire, you could have.
Maybe it's a safety
down with
thing.
G&T.
I can get it though. I mean, you know, like how tractors plough fields these days with GPS.
Yeah.
No reason you couldn't do that with a lawnmower, is there?
There is none. But I'm just trying to think of the guide wire.
Well, you might have to set a guide on the perimeter maybe, so that if it goes wrong, like if the North Koreans or the Russians get hold of it and decide to mow the wrong bit of grass, like rogue state lawn mowing, we'll show them. We're going to totally take out the petunias. If you want disruption, forget your daffodils, mate. They're gone. Yeah, I saw some racing lawnmowers yesterday on the way back from Southampton. You know, like ride on lawnmowers. They gear them up and actually race them.
No.
There was 2 John Deere ones. Yeah, I was coveting them in a big way.
But do they have to cut grass as they go?
No. No grass cutting required. Just racing. Yeah. Oh
Brilliant.
God, this is really, really, really deteriorating fast. Love the vlogs. Thanks, Christopher. There will be more vlogs, actually. I'm going to change the pickups in my 335, and Dan's got one coming up on
I've got about 7. I'm halfway through.
Dan's having some technical issues.
I'm with my brain. You know what? I think the vlogs that I did making the acoustic guitar at Christmas broke me a little bit.
It's every week for me. What do you mean? They were such hard work that you've lost the vigour to.
I think by the time.
re-engage?
Yeah, I don't know. They like, you know, there was like, was it 5 1 hour, 1.5 hour things?
Yeah, it's pretty serious.
Yeah, but I've had so many things. I don't know. It's been a really crazy year, and I've got like 7 things that are half finished. But editing, I find editing. Some of it I absolutely love, but then there are parts where it's like I'm getting to a bit and the microphone hasn't recorded something properly, or the camera for some reason at that very point decides to go out of focus. It's maddening, absolutely maddening.
This is a knowing glance.
Yeah. Anyway,
Nick de Calouet says, I'm celebrating New Guitar Day with my first baritone.
oh, lovely.
And feeling inspired, do I have anything to consider with regard to frequency battles with a bass in the mix? Thanks for creating such a positive culture here.
Oh, thank you, mate.
Thanks for saying that, Nick, and thanks to everyone for doing the same. We really appreciate it.
You don't have anything to consider if you don't have problems. Now, if let's say you're going down to a drop C, for example, like Joey is, you know, the frequencies are obviously lower. It is a different instrument, but it's not as if it's going to produce all this crazy extra bottom end that you didn't have before. The frequencies are lower, but it's the same. What I'm saying is the same rules apply. If you're producing too much low end, you know, once you get to a happy place, turn the bass down a little bit. Same with the baritone. Get to a happy place, turn the bass down a little bit, and you'll be fine. It's still not as low as the G on your top bass string. Or is it? I can't remember. Anyway, because I asked Joey this question and years ago, and he said it's surprising that it's not as much as an issue as you think it's going to be.
Yeah, baritone is slightly different because it's going to be an A or B, which is lower than C. So
yeah, well, it'll be an octave lower than this.
There's a bit of crossover. Dave Landreth was saying something interesting in the full edit of the video. By the way, for those who are asking, probably going to be this Friday. I've still got about 10 hours of editing to do, and I cannot do that before about Thursday. So it's probably going to be Friday. I'm sorry to say. We're hoping to do it sooner, but it just didn't quite happen. Dave Landreth was saying something interesting in the video. He was saying, set all your sounds up to where you like them, and then turn the bass down.
Yeah. Get everything just right.
Where you're having fun.
Notch the bass down a bit.
And then just turn the bass down.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's pretty insightful.
That's advice for life.
Yeah, but more than any of the above, more than any pedals, more than any amp, more than any tone considerations, more than any EQ, more than any front of house, don't play the same thing. Sort your parts out musically, and none of the above will be a problem.
Sure.
Or if you are going to play the same thing, understand that it's going to clash. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you had 2 bass guitars on stage, if you had a Spinal Tap Big Bottom moment and you're all playing the same note,
wicked.
it's not going to work. You need to play harmony, just like in Big Bottom. Do 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 do. Yeah, but enjoy. Before you start worrying about all of that stuff, enjoy the unbelievable sonorous presentation of a baritone when you play chords. It is a magic thing.
Yeah, it's so good.
Truly magic thing. Try it with a bit of tremolo, keep it clean. Such a cool sound.
Yep.
Congrats.
Yep.
Congrats.
Well done, mate.
Nice one, Nick. Jake Garcia. Hello, Jake.
Hey,
2
Jake.
bonus points for Dan. Number 1. G3 Atom is awesome and surprisingly simple for how powerful
thank you,
it is.
mate. Thank you, buddy.
2, I'm discovering I may be a telly guy after all.
Yeah, you are.
Thanks to a new small builder T-style that has blown me away.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, well done.
Nice when that happens. And finally, Plan D guitarist. Plan D guitarist. Greetings from Nashville. Today is my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Plan D. I'm spending some TPS time with what my wife calls the boys. How much time should there be with a guitar model to discover what type of guitar you prefer? Cheers.
Oh, that is a good question to end on. That is a really good question.
It could be
It could be instant, couldn't
8
it?
seconds.
Yeah, absolutely.
It could be 8 years.
Yep. And either way is okay.
Exactly.
Either way is fine. It might be that it's like this is highly unlikely, but it might be in 10 years' time I pick up a Strat and go, you know what? I'm a Strat guy now. Highly unlikely, but it could happen, and if it did, that would be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, so on the one hand, instant, like, yeah, that's for me, I love it, brilliant, inspiring. Come back in 6 weeks, how do you feel about it now? The other option is you pick a guitar and you work at it. For better or worse, richer or poorer, whatever life throws your way, you and that guitar are bonded and you overcome your battles together. And what that ends up as this relationship that is what's the word I'm looking for? Codependent. In order to make music, symbiosis, you need that guitar, it needs you. That is the gold standard, but it takes time.
Yeah.
Because you understand it, you know how to play it, you know how to express on it if you have the time. Maybe.
Yeah. And also, a Telecaster isn't just a Telecaster. I've got a few and they're all drastically different. Sometimes you'll just pick up a guitar and go, ooh, hello, and that is the one. And it might be the guitar that you least expect.
Yeah.
It just...
Yeah.
Yeah. Just be open. All I would say is just be open to it. If you go in with a predetermined idea of what the guitar is going to be, that can cause challenges. But if you just go in there and just try a few things out, just be open to it and see how you feel. Yeah, you'll get a real experience of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm being pensive because I'm struggling with all those questions, even all this time in. It's like, what? We'll leave you with an existential question. What is it you're trying to do?
Indeed.
Okay, that's us. Have a great week. Full edit of the Brothers Landreth this Friday. We are immensely lucky to have Sean Tubbs coming in tomorrow.
Next week.
What?
It's not tomorrow.
Surely it's tomorrow.
No. It's next week, isn't it? Oh, let me check my calendar.
The first date you sent me was December.
No. Oh, hang on, let me double check.
We'll leave you to our diary hilarity, and 3rd of December was the original date. I was like, yeah, sure. Actually, it might have been the 8th of December, to be fair.
15th.
I've got to check this.
Okay. Oh, no, sorry. Tuesday the 13th of September. So that's next Tuesday.
Really? Okay, good. It's not tomorrow.
Yeah, no, it's next week. Next week.
Sean Tubbs isn't coming in tomorrow. He's coming in next week, which is good.
I can't wait to see him.
Yeah.
He's such a monster.
I can't wait to
He's a really beautiful guy.
Hear him play the git fiddle.
Yeah, so good.
Oh God, I need a burger.
Thanks, everyone. Have a fantastic week.
Thanks for being with us.
Yeah.
So anyway, Brothers Landreth full edit will be this Friday, and then who the hell knows after that. If anyone in the meantime can find out why I play the guitar, please let me know, and we'll work on it. Thanks for being here. Play us out, Dan.